Prepare yourself for Earthling Entertainment, the perfect blend of paranormal and pop culture, with your host, Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
Ho, ho, ho! And welcome to the Krampus episode of Earthling Entertainment with Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
Hey, it's Christmas Eve, and I'm the host who's finally gonna catch that fat son of a bitch, Joe Wakefield. Too much? Continue.
And I'm Ryan Lang. I guess I am a witness to the fat man's murder.
Oh, no, I didn't say murder. I have questions.
Okay.
So, for those of you joining us for the first time, what is it we do here? Well, I'll tell you. What we do is a little bit of the creepy, a little bit of the spooky. Sometimes it's cryptozoology. Other times it's a haunting, or like a ghost, or a mystery, or something else that's spooky, but it's always on the creepy side. And that, of course, is followed by a little thing we like to call disclosure discussion. That one's all about aliens.
I'm just asking questions. We talk about UFO stories, alien abduction stories, anything new that has been released from like Congress, from all of these hearings that have been happening, new drones in the sky, stuff like that.
A lot of drones in the sky.
A lot of drones, evidently. That's what we like to talk about.
Yes, and then the second half of the show, the latter half, if you will, is all dedicated to pop culture and entertainment. Sometimes we have celebrity interviews, other times we have movie news or music news. We talk about celebrity deaths, we have trivia games, we have audio dramas, but it's all entertainment, it's all pop culture, and it's all the time awesome. Now, those two sections, the first part of the show being the spooky, and the second part being the pop culture, come together in the delicious Oreo of a podcast we like to call Earthling Entertainment. Welcome.
Welcome indeed. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us today, and Merry Christmas.
So, I think I want to give a little bit of an explanation. Last week, Ryan was supposed to be a part of the show. Unfortunately, he ended up miscalculating, and he was stuck in a different state. But missing the show aside, he came across an amazing thing. And what was this, a fudge factory?
It was called Uranus Fudge Factory. All the best fudge comes from Uranus. It was seriously the best.
Wait, is that like a slogan?
Yeah, that's their slogan.
You're
the
messing
best,
with me.
The best fudge comes from Uranus.
They have like signs that say that.
Like down the freeway, they had so many billboards that they paid for, and all of them had that on there, and other funny slogans. Like they had funny stuff. Like
where is this?
This was in Indiana, but I guess they have a few locations. So, but yeah, this was in Indiana.
All right. So walk me through this, Ryan. What happened?
So my girlfriend was telling me about it. We went on a road trip, and so on our way back, we were like, "F it, let's check it out." So we go in, and it's awesome. So we go in, and they've got all these funny, different slogans, like the most immature stuff you could think of, like along the lines of like, "Oh, come and get your fudge packed," no joke. And so we go in, and they're all just like, "Hi, welcome to Uranus," and like, so we go up to the counter, guy's like, "Hey, looking to get your fudge packed?"
Is Uranus the name of the town?
No, it's just, this is the store.
Okay, but is it spelled like the planet Uranus?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And
that's how we're getting away with it.
And so, so we got some fudge, and he's just like, nothing wrong with some freshly packed fudge, and he put it in the bag and he hands it to us and stuff. And so, we pay for it, and we looked around. They got a bunch of knickknacks all over the place, and like, they're on the ball. Everybody who comes in, everybody who works there is welcome to Uranus. And so we go to leave, and we go to where we came in, and there's no handle on the door. And we stood there like befuddled for a moment. And without missing a beat, the dude behind the counter, "The only way to exit Uranus is through the rear." And he points over to so we had to go out through the rear.
Yeah, they had a back door. That was the only way you could leave.
And that's the only way you can leave Uranus.
And
it was the most immature and amazing experience I've ever had. I tried one of the truffles that we got. It was good. It was really good. Solid chocolate there. And they had a lot of really fun merch. Like one of the things they were like,
real.
And yes, and like, like the sign like liquor. Well, they had like Uranus liquors.
Sure.
As like spelt like liquor, like the drink. And it was just amazing. They had these there were puns galore. You would love it. It was
I probably, yeah. No, I would. There was this, do you remember the Mongolian barbecue?
yeah.
Okay, well, they used to basically cook, everything on a grill. You'd get your raw fish, your raw
I already
food,
know
your
the
raw,
slogan.
yeah. And well, they had the shirt that says, "We do it on a grill."
Yeah, we do it on the grill.
We do it on the grill. So there you go.
I remember that.
You make it sexy and it sells, and
Yes.
or just immature and funny in the case of fudge packers. I mean,
right. And it was hilarious, and I highly recommend everybody go to Uranus Fudge Factory because all of the best fudge comes from Uranus.
this is the Christmas show.
And yeah, I'm talking about. Well, I mean, we're also
Christmas show, Ryan.
I mean, it just screamed us. There were like alien, stuff everywhere because that was the whole thing. Is they're talking about the planet Uranus. They're not talking about your butthole.
Yeah, it's all about the misunderstanding. I get it.
That's right.
All about the misunderstanding.
But but no, it was funny. So yeah, everybody should check it out. It was just like a little place, but creative. Very creative.
Well, like I just mentioned, this is our Christmas episode, and it is Christmas Eve right now. And I got to be honest, I kind of question a little bit why we had the Christmas episode on Christmas Eve, because who's listening to us on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day?
Only the good boys and girls.
I don't know. It's gonna be nice to see. Like, I'm gonna see how many downloads or streams it gets, and I have a feeling it's not gonna be high for the first few days.
Well, it's we're a gift. This episode is from us to you, the listener. So open it. When you can, of course, listen to it, enjoy it.
Well, you remember, Christmas isn't actually over while there's still a gift to be opened. So there you go, Ryan.
That's right.
We are helping make your Christmas longer. That's what we're doing here.
Everybody likes it longer, Joe. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Anyways, episode.
Oh, man. Oh, Christmas. Oh, man. Are you feeling the Christmas spirit, Joe?
A little bit. I have a playlist, which is all the music that I listen to when I walk the dog. And it's a lot of Trans-Siberian Orchestra, but a lot of Christmas stuff. I have the old White Christmas sound to it, a bunch of Weird Al, down in the workshop, all the elves making toys, that whole thing. Yeah. So no, it hasn't worked at all.
No,
not in the Christmas spirit. My kid, though, he lights up because he's 2, so he's lighting up with toys and understanding and trees. Like, he saw the lights, and this is the first time he can really comprehend it, because before that he was just kind of like a potato.
Yeah.
But before kids are like 1.5, they're pretty much potatoes.
Yeah. My kids are definitely in the Christmas spirit. My 8-year-old, he's still having trouble being like, you got the gifts though, right? Why can't I just have it? I'm like, it's not Christmas yet, dude. And he doesn't get it.
But they're right there.
Like, so I don't put them under the tree because I know better. My kid will be like, oops.
I'll say, well, I'm just going to open this now.
Oh, Dad, you won't believe what happened. Like, oops, I opened the gift. I fell.
Yeah, I fell right over it, and it just to catch my balance, I somehow hooked it.
Yep.
Ripped it right open.
Now I've been jamming. If you want if you like heavy metal music, check out August Burns Red.
Is this Christmas?
Yes, they do Christmas albums where it's all. I think there's a couple songs where the guy sings, but I mean, like, he doesn't really sing; he screams because it's metal band. But
yeah, that makes sense.
All the rest of it, like most of it, is all instrumental, and it's really, really good. They're a metalcore band. They're really tight. They're awesome.
And I don't mean to repeat myself, but it's a Christmas. They do Christmas albums.
Yep, full on Christmas albums, and like I said, they're mostly instrumental. So it's great background Christmas music because it is. They're just doing all of them. Like, you name it, they did it, and they even wrote a couple songs themselves. Like, there was one called "Sleigh Ride," which I liked, and they wrote one called "Flurries."
That's amazing.
It's really Christmassy, but it's heavy metal, like metalcore heavy metal. So it's really cool. So check that one out if you haven't. That's definitely on my yearly playlist. And Dropkick Murphys, Seasons Upon Us. There's so many good songs, man. Honestly, yeah, I got kind of into the Christmas, when I was spending way too much money on my kids' gifts, and you know,
You
stuff
know, like
like
I
that.
gotta stay motivated. I gotta stay in the spirit.
So I listen to, you know, the Christmas music that I like. I can't just listen to like, I don't know. I like some of the crooners, the old lounge singers stuff, you know.
Well,
Some of that's
you
cool.
want to do some time travel. So, you know,
Yeah.
obviously, I go to my mom's house for Christmas. Well, she has albums that, like, my sister and I bought way back when we were growing up. And she still has a stereo of CDs. So, the Christmas albums we get to listen to, I have, like, a Backstreet Boys Christmas album.
Yes.
I have Hanson.
You have Bop, dude.
Bop, dude, but it wasn't. Bop wasn't on there, but Bop.
Oh,
Speaking of which,
that was a jam.
do you remember? Do you remember the "I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby"?
Yeah.
It was Weezer.
Was that Weezer?
No, it wasn't Weezer. What was it?
I don't think that was. Yeah, because Weezer.
Okay, look up real quick who did "Teenage Dirtbag." But,
I am gonna look that up.
But that song came out in the early 2000s. I remember it was like the song they played in the to coincide with the film Loser with Jason Biggs, which was his big follow up to American Pie.
Wheatus.
Wheatus, that's right. So Wheatus released last year a Christmas version of Teenage Dirtbag, which you might be able to find. But it's "I'm just a Christmas dirtbag baby."
Nice.
And because you know, no offense to Wheatus, but I believe they're pretty much a one-hit wonder. I tip my hat to you. They're like, we waited 20 years before selling out, but we took our one song that we could sell out with, and we did it.
Huh.
We did it hard.
So, fun little fact here. I couldn't help but read it. Teenage Dirtbag was inspired by a real-life Satanic Panic era murder in singer Brandon B. Brown's hometown, where an AC/DC wearing teenager committed a ritualistic killing.
I gotta be honest, I didn't get any of that from Teenage Dirtbag.
Neither did
That's-
I. It seems rather upbeat.
Yeah, no, that whole song is just like, I'm a loser and I like this girl, and then the girl's like, I'm a loser too. Let's go on a date together. Not, I'm gonna fucking murder her and eat you.
Good Lord.
Anyways, I'm just a Christmas dirtbag baby, and I
Nice.
bought it. It was like $1.39 or whatever on the whatever the hell Apple store, and I got it. Yeah.
Oh,
So that's also on my Christmas playlist.
Well, and you got to have like the parodies, you know, like I am Santa Claus. Like leave him cookies and beer. He'll be back to your house first next year.
Oh my god, I've never heard who's doing these
I'll,
parodies.
I'll send it to you. It's an older one. I remember they used to play it on a local station here called The Riff. And like they used to play it on there like every year, so that's where I learned that one. And then there's like Riders on the Sleigh.
Okay, so the Riff, correct me if I'm wrong, is a local Detroit station. Well, I think it's in
like a
Windsor.
rock
It's
station.
yeah, but it's a. You know what I miss? When we were growing up, do you remember 89X?
Yeah, it's a country station now, I think. It used to be New Rock Alternative.
Yeah, so it's
89X.
88.7 New Rock Alternative. Well, I loved that growing up. When we went to LA, I really missed it. I wasn't listening to the radio. Well, when I came back to Detroit, literally I was here for a month, and they was like, well, 89X is leaving. See ya.
Yep, and now they're a country station. And it's interesting because, yeah, like New Rock Alternative, I felt like that was more like our generation and maybe like my brother who's older than me, like their generation's like future classics. So I don't know why that went away. It's weird.
I don't know either, but you know what? They did the reason why I bring it up, the reason why it pertains to what we're talking about is every year they did a concert called The Night 89X Stole Christmas.
That's right. I went to the second one.
I don't remember if it was the second, first, or third, but I went to one of them pretty early on, and they did Offspring. It was one of my first concerts I ever went to, and I got to see Offspring.
Yeah,
play.
I didn't go to that one. That was one of the other ones because the one I went to was like Blink-182 and Stone Temple Pilots, stuff like that. It wasn't a bad show. It was a good show. That was like one of my first. I think that was actually my first show. So that means
right. That's what I'm saying. So both of our first shows were technically Christmas concerts, right?
Right. And so that means the first band I ever saw live was Ben Harper, because that's the dude who opened the show.
Huh.
And that's the only reason I remember his name is because it was my first show. So
You know
kinda
what's
stuck to
funny?
me. And I think Oasis was there too.
You want to know the first concert I ever went to? My sister wanted to see the guy, and he was I was real young, like 8, 9, because it was the first concert I ever went to. Brian White. I
Who's that?
remember.
I don't even know who that is.
I don't think he made it very big, but it was a country star, and he was doing his like, I'm doing small gigs, but I'm on my way up. I don't know if he ever made his way up.
I hope he did.
I hope he did too. Ryan, look up Brian White, the country singer, real quick.
Brian White.
Brian White, I want to know. Speaking of white, what about a white Christmas, buddy? Do you think we're gonna get snow this year?
I feel like we're overdue.
I do too. We have not had a lot of snow. I think we had like one day, and then the snow kind of melted right before it got dark, just enough to have freeze and have the entire world covered with this lovely layer of ice, which I have to admit, that did feel a bit like Christmas.
Nice.
Yeah.
So he's 50 years old.
Brian White.
Brian White looks like he's still doing okay. From Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, Brian White from Oklahoma. All right, so he's enough that he's got his wiki page, right?
Yeah.
So he made it like straight to the middle.
Yeah, it looks like his last album was an EP, and that was in 2014. Called Shine. And he's got a greatest hits, came out in the year 2000.
Fair enough.
So she was probably like into his early stuff there. He's got a few albums here in the 90s. Looks like, yeah.
I was pretty young, so it had to be mid to early 90s, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, he's still out here. He's got a Wikipedia here.
Okay, you know what? I'm done talking about Brian White. But Ryan, thank you for that. Thank you.
No problem.
That was a gift. In Christmas tradition, that was a gift. And you know what else is a gift, Ryan?
Ooh, what?
I think what we're doing for this week's spooky stuff, because it is very, very relevant. We are covering Krampus.
Yes.
Yes, it's about time. So please sit back and enjoy this week's spooky stuff.
Krampus, in Central European popular legend, is a half-goat, half-demon monster that punishes misbehaving children at Christmas time.
Yeah, someone's got to do it.
He is the devilish companion of Saint Nicholas. Krampus is believed to
Hold on, hon. It does make sense in folklore, but it's just funny to think of like Santa Claus and his demon sidekick.
Like, oh, Krampus.
It's like
Like
da 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 da.
It does sound like a sitcom from the 90s, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So Krampus is believed to have originated in Germany, and his name derives from the German word krumpen, which means claw. In the 17th century, Krampus was paired with St. Nicholas as a helper because Nicholas is a saint. It wasn't logical or deemed saintly behavior for Nicholas to deliver punishments. Therefore, a helper was assigned to St. Nicholas who would go down the chimney and punish the naughty children.
Okay, pause. I've seen a lot of Christmas movies in the more recent times, the Tim Allen Santa Claus movies come to mind. I never seen any point if any new kid, I never saw Santa be like, ho, 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 I'm gonna beat you for being a bastard.
Well, that's why you got Krampus.
I guess, but that being said, it would be really, really funny. It's like Santa's just like same mythology, just a happy-go-lucky guy, but he just comes down chimney and he just rolls up his sleeves and be like, well, Timmy, you know what's coming. You're about to be popped in the jaw.
I'm envisioning Santa just standing outside the sleigh while Krampus is doing his thing, just slowly lighting his corn cob, lighting his little pipe. Yeah,
like,
just
you just hear a kid.
You hear
No,
a kid just,
no, please, no.
And he's just like,
It's, and they thought
Maybe.
Cole was bad.
maybe Timmy will learn next year.
Was that tack on your teacher's chair funny now, you little bastard?
You little shit. Krampus was thought to have been part of pagan rituals for the winter solstice. According to legend, he is the son of Hel, the Norse god of the underworld, spelt Hel.
And not too bad of a snazzy dresser.
Right. With this spread of Christianity, Krampus became associated with Christmas despite efforts by the Catholic Church to ban him. The creature and St. Nicholas are said to arrive on the evening of December 5th, Krampusnacht, or Krampus night. In German, I believe it is Krampusnacht, but here we are allowed to say Krampusnacht. It's a little easier. While St. Nicholas rewards nice children by leaving presents, Krampus beats those who are naughty with branches and sticks.
I just, it's funny to me just to be like, oh boy, I really hope I get the dolly. And then the door slowly creaks open. It's this hooving guy with his switch.
And he's just
like, I think you're forgetting some things you did this year, Sally. Like, oh no.
Oh no, indeed. In some cases, he is said to eat them or take them to hell.
Which is worse?
On December 6th, which is St. Nicholas Day, children awaken to find their gifts or nurse their injuries. This just got dark. It's just drunk fathers beating their kids, saying, "Oh, it's Krampus."
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, German children seem to deal with a lot of horrific stories. That could be a story of horrible things happening, and it'd be like, yeah, no, that's just a German fairy tale.
Yeah, and the original is always much darker.
Yeah.
Much darker. According to the legends, Krampus looks like a horned satyr with goat legs, cloven hooves, black matted hair, and a horrible, long, pointed tongue. He stands about 7 feet tall, and he has bulging eyes and pointed ears. On his back, he carries a big wicker basket filled with thorny birch sticks for beating children.
Because one isn't enough.
This is why,
because you already beat so many kids, they wear out.
It's like, this is what I do.
Yeah,
I need sort of a hobby.
There's different millimeters. There's different like elasticities.
Like, yeah,
it's the right beaten stick for the right kid.
He's just out there all year long, just collecting just the right sticks for little Timmy.
Oh no.
Some stories about Krampus report that he only beats children with his birch switches. If they don't repent, he puts them in his basket and takes them to his lair, where he beats them until they do repent. Over the centuries, some stories grew to include horrific tortures, such as pulling out the pigtails of little girls, chasing children over cliffs, excessive ear pulling.
Hold on, is chasing someone over a cliff torture, or is that just murder? I mean, I guess it depends on the height of the cliff, but that just feels like I just drove you off a cliff. Like you're dead.
No, it's getting serious.
You Thelma and Louise, man.
It's getting serious over here. It's and so Krampus is also putting preteens in shackles and making them beg for mercy. There are even tales that he drowns some children in ink and uses a pitchfork to retrieve their bodies.
There's got to be a reason why ink.
Why ink?
Yeah, why ink? Does he use that ink to make his list of naughty kids for the next year? I don't know, but why?
I don't know. And I looked that up. That was not a typo. It's straight up. Yeah, that's the legend. It's ink.
Maybe it's just because it would be scary to drown in a black liquid.
That's where my head goes. Is that would be terrifying, right?
I mean,
because you can't see.
I think it'd be terrifying to drown no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, and there's a giant satyr goat man thing holding you under the water or ink.
Yeah. Okay, the black ink would be bad. I've never thought about it. Would ink just burn, or would it just taste weird, or would it just be like water? How does your body react to being submerged in ink?
I don't know, but I mean, it can't be good, right? Can't breathe it in. So I mean, if he's drowning you, you're drowning.
Well, can't breathe anything.
Yeah.
Well, oh, you know what'd be worse? Blood.
Yeah. Well, yeah, reminds me of House on Haunted Hill.
Oh yeah,
there was the scene where they drowned.
I think drowning in a giant barrel or pool of blood is pretty horror movie 101.
It definitely is. I mean, right? The Shining with all the blood just coming out of the elevators and stuff like that. Just a lot of blood it's petrifying.
Yeah. So you got to hand it to Krampus. At least he's original. He's like, oh, hold on, ink.
That's right, ink.
Yeah.
Right. He's not just using. He's not going to use blood. He'll use ink.
Yeah, and if he's out of ink, he'll just chase your ass off a cliff.
That's right.
Because those two things are equal.
Oh, and I forgot Event Horizon, one of my favorite horrors that had a whole thing where just blood was just everywhere pouring out. That was a whole thing.
Oh, well,
right near the end there.
There you go. You know what was a weird scene of drowning?
What?
There was a movie, I don't know if you remember, it was a Broken Lizard's Beer Fest.
I remember that, and
Yes,
he drank.
drowned in a giant barrel of
He
beer.
almost got out, and
He
he was
tried to drink the whole barrel.
and it was funneling like down, like kind of like how it does
Like
in your
it-
tub.
Yeah.
Like he's got like the whole site coming down to him, and they did the best character kill off ever
in that movie.
because yes, he died, and then they literally had that same actor come on and be like, hey,
I'm his twin brother.
and if you could just call me Landfill.
Yeah, just call me the same name because I feel like I know everything about you guys, and it would just be kind of cool. Look,
So-
it'll be like he never left.
So they killed off a character without killing off a character. It was brilliant.
Okay, I know how we sometimes jump to some things, but like this is Krampus.
Well, you know what?
Back to
Let's
Krampus.
say the beer. The beer reminded us because it actually is a big deal when it comes to Krampus.
That's true.
The legend of Krampus dates back centuries, originating as Germans' Christmas tradition during the 12th century. Beginning in early December, the children of Germany would begin to hear whispers of a dark-haired creature bearing horns and fangs, carrying a bunch of birch sticks used to swat naughty children.
I still think that's hilarious.
According to traditional narratives of Alpine folklore, the Krampus would enter the towns, lashing his chains and bells to capture the bad children in a basket and bring them down to the underworld.
Can you imagine, like, you're sitting there in your room and you're scared because this thing breaks in, is just beating the shit out of your brothers and sisters, and you're just waiting for your turn to get, like, brutally beaten, and then there's just this soft little tap on your shoulder, and then Santa smiles at you and hands you a truck.
Like a truck,
Yeah.
and then Krampus comes in and hands you like a candy cane that he's already bit off half
No,
of
yeah,
it.
and then he's got to kiss you on the cheek before they both leave.
And how he kisses you is like a dog with his long, pointy tongue.
No, because the whole point is it's sweet. It's not creepy. It's just a little. There you go, Timmy. See? And then you look over to see your siblings just like twitching,
Yeah, just twitch it on the
Yeah.
ground.
like real cartoon style, where it's just
Yeah.
like one limb up in the air making a weird bed shake.
Oh my god. Doing like that thing when you're knocked unconscious, that weird breathing, that.
Oh no! Like, damn, bro,
Oh, no.
you should not have snuck out last week.
Like, dude, like, what did he do? Like he didn't put the cap back on the peanut butter. Like, oh my god.
Well, this all feels very religious, but like repent. So it could have been something like, motherfucker ate a salmon last night and it was Friday.
Oh no.
I don't know. It depends.
So festivities involving Krampus, yes, there are festivities, include the Krampuslauf, meaning the Krampus Run. In this activity, which often involves alcohol, people dressed as the creature parade through the streets, scaring spectators and sometimes chasing them. During the feast of St. Nicholas, December 6th of every year, Krampus literally makes his appearance. Groups of men dress up as the demon and stand outside the bedroom window of kids who no longer believe in St. Nick or Krampus.
Oh my God, can you imagine that? Be like, my kid's being a dick. All right, so all you neighbors, you come to my kid's house, you stand outside his window, and you scare the crap out of him.
Oh, dude, it gets worse. The men make a lot of noise, shaking rusty old chains and ringing bells. That has to be somewhat unnerving, but not as unnerving, Joe, as step number 2, where your parents then invite them into your home. The parents let the men yell at the kids, then offer the demons a merry drink. It's no wonder that by the end of the night of Krampus, men are reported as almost always being drunk.
Can you imagine being a part of that? Like you're like, I'm going around and I'm helping out my neighbors. I'm scaring the shit out of their kids, having a beer, going to another kid's house, yelling at them, calling them a piece of shit, having another beer. It's gonna be a whole fucking thing. You want to join?
Oh my, right? Because that was just like a bad idea at the bar. Like they were all just said, they're like, "There, my kid, he's trying to say he doesn't believe in Krampus anymore, so I need you guys to scare the piss out of him."
Yeah, no, it's like, oh, he'll believe in Krampus, but
Oh, shoot.
Germans don't fuck around.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Like you got like a 16-year-old kid, like, I believe in Krampus. I believe in him.
Yeah, you got a 40-year-old kid living at home, like, yeah, I still believe in Krampus. I really, I just need a house. But yeah.
And like dad's tapped your phone and like, you're just talking to somebody. It's like, you don't believe anymore. Now he's outside your window with all of his like buddies from the home, like, hey!
It's like, this was way more intimidating when you guys were in your 40s.
yeah, like yeah, you know what? I'm not so scared no more. Go back home, Dad.
Well, you know what? Frankly, I don't give a Krampus.
Oh, Guten Tag. Beginning in the late 20th century, amid efforts to preserve cultural heritage, Krampus runs became increasingly popular in Austria and Germany. During this time, Krampus began to be celebrated internationally, and the monster's growing appeal was evidenced by numerous horror films. Some claimed that the expanding popularity of Krampus was a reaction to the commercialization of Christmas.
Okay, I see that.
So it was like a retort in
Yeah.
a way. So fun. The Nazis hated Krampus, which is
Really?
surprising.
Well,
yeah,
you're telling me a Nazi hates something?
but a surprise.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Right. But I mean, they were considering how involved they were in the occult. You think that they would like almost like embrace that.
That is true, right? Yeah.
So the New York Times newspaper reported in 1934 that in fascist Austria, anyone impersonating Krampus would be arrested. So you couldn't even.
It's like last year I got to get drunk and yell at my neighbor's kids. This year I'm thrown in the slammer.
It's like that was the straw that broke the camel's back on why we didn't like the Nazis. Like, okay, you know what? No. It's just... So there was a concern in the Alpine region that the commercialization of Krampus was taking over Christmas. So they moved the demonic tradition back to December 6th and linked him to the St. Nicholas holiday.
It's Krampus, Charlie Brown.
Dude, that is a Peanuts Gang episode I would like to see. Like, I figure like someone could make a short and make that hilarious.
I agree.
Or Robot Chicken. Robot Chicken should do it.
If they weren't canceled.
Aw.
Yeah.
They'll come back. They always come back.
Yeah, I don't think they will though.
Aw. Apparently, the revelers create Krampus-themed candy and treats. They host runs and things in his name, and generally run amok well ahead of the Christmas holidays nowadays. Fun fact, St. Nicholas is actually a historical figure from 4th century Greece and Turkey. He did a lot of good for people and became known as Nicholas the Wonder Worker. The Wonder Worker. So
the Wonder Worker is kind of a fun name.
that is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I found that was in one of the articles I was looking at. I'm like, I don't even think I ever heard that. So I'm going to put that in there.
That seems like that should be the name of a kid's movie for Christmas. Nicholas the Wonder Worker.
Dude, you're right.
Yeah.
That
would
I'll
work
bet
really well.
It's got to have been taken, though.
You know what? We haven't heard of it, which means we can make it.
That's
It's
right.
not like there isn't already 6 movies called Santa Claus.
Or Krampus.
Yeah, exactly. There are a lot of freaking movies called Krampus.
Yeah.
Honestly.
The ancient legend of Krampus was brought to the world centuries ago through Alpine folk tales. The Alpine region includes people of Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Technically, the creature was a pagan Alpine fertility demon.
Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of horned gods in any pagan religion usually are fertility. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the whole thing of Easter, fertility, too.
Makes sense. So I think that's kind of the
holiday,
whole thing with spring in general, isn't it?
Yeah. The introduction of mass visual media couldn't help but sweep the charismatic Krampus up in its wave. When the postcard industry experienced a boom in Germany and Austria in the 1890s, it opened the way for Krampuskarten. These holiday cards weren't meant to make you feel warm and fuzzy. Ones marked Gruß vom Krampus, greetings from Krampus, showed Krampus stuffing a distressed child into his satchel or preparing to hit one with his bundle of birch sticks.
And they're like trading cards.
Like they
gotta collect them all.
They were a big deal.
They were. You know, the whole the postcard boom of the 1890s. That's just a funny thing to think about.
What a boom. They were just losing their minds. Many of these postcards depicted Krampus going after children with his sticks, leading them away in chains, or carrying them off in his bag. There were also cards that were a little more adult. Krampus
What
card.
does that mean?
Well, I think right here it says Krampus cards in the early 20th century show him punishing children, yes, but also proposing to women. In some cards, Krampus is portrayed as a large woman whipping tiny men with her birch sticks and carrying them off in her satchel.
So some of these Krampus cards got a little saucy.
I was gonna say, I think that's a perverted thing right there. That's a bit of a kink.
It's like those old pens you used to get at the train station. You turn it upside down and the top goes away.
That's right. Or when we were kids, it was the butane lighters where the titties lit up.
What?
Yeah, we had the little lighters that had titties, and when you lit it, the titties would light up.
What are you talking about?
Titty novelty lighters. That's what I'm talking about, Joe.
I think that was
It makes a perfect stocking stuffer.
I feel like that makes that is a very unique experience to your own life.
I guess it was, judging from your reaction.
Did
Don't forget to
the
get your
flames come out of the boobs?
No, they come out they come out like the neck.
So
it's like you're holding the body, and
so it's like a little model of a naked woman.
yeah, and then when you light it, the titties lit up.
What do you mean by light up?
Like
They were
there were like little red
light bulbs?
little red light bulbs on them that would light up
And where'd the fire come from?
from like the neck,
Like the top of the
like
head?
the top.
So
like,
you'd like knock the head to the side and the fire
no,
would
but
pop
that
out
would
of
have
the
been
neck?
great if that's how they did it. No, it was just like a mannequin. It was just like a torso mannequin, no head.
Oh, no head? So it was
Yeah.
just like,
So when you clicked it, I think it opened the neck, and that's where the flame came out. It was like a butane lighter.
huh?
I don't know why what you
Merry
said.
Christmas,
Merry
Ryan.
Christmas, Joe.
Back to crap.
I got to share that with you. I'm so glad.
Wow.
So
I mean-
in another, a smiling woman dangles a defeated-looking Krampus in the air, holding his bundle of birch sticks behind her back. So for over a century, most Americans probably never saw a Krampus card or even knew who Krampus was. That changed in 2004 when art director and graphic designer Monte Bucamp
Oh, Monte Bucamp.
published a book of Krampus cards and helped organize an art show inspired by the cards. Whether or not Bucamp is primarily responsible for introducing Krampus cards to the US, Krampus has since become a sort of iconic icon in America. Etsy has a whole section of items inspired by classic Krampus cards. If you don't have time to send cards, you can buy an ugly Krampus sweater to wear to your local Krampus party or Krampuslauf.
Huh. I'm sure they're super expensive, but I want to see if I can get like one of the original Krampus cards.
It's got to be expensive. You're
I'm
talking,
sure
yeah,
hundreds of dollars, and probably framed and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But,
yeah.
we should
But-
try to see.
It is funny. I don't remember even hearing anything about Krampus until we were pretty much well into our 20s. Like, I feel like I didn't even hear about it till.
I don't remember what came first. It wasn't the Krampus movie in 2015. It could have been. There was an American Dad episode where there was Krampus. It had to be something like that. It had to be
Yeah.
like a cartoon or a pop culture thing.
I think that was it too. Yeah. That.
Don't remember though.
Mm-mm. I want to say maybe Family Guy.
I wasn't familiar with it as a child. I do know that.
Yeah,
So
no.
it definitely. I was in high school a minimum, but probably out of high school as an adult.
Our parents didn't see the need to frighten us with a giant goat creature that would whip us with sticks if we were bad. That's good.
To be fair, they probably should have.
They
because
probably-
we are bad people, right? We would both be lawyers, and our credit score would be through the roof.
That's right. This turned out much better. So, Krampus's popularity.
I'm dying.
It's like,
Continue.
I made myself feel bad. Anyway, Krampus's popularity in the U.S. arguably peaked with the 2015 feature film Krampus.
By the guy who did Trick or Treat, which I mentioned.
Yes, which shouldn't be confused with the many other, this says low budget Krampus movies, but I'm sure they weren't all totally low, but
No, there was really only one high budget. Yeah.
oh, okay.
There's so many. Our buddy Caleb, the actor, was going to do a Krampus movie. He, I don't know why it didn't work out, but he ended up not doing it. But he was going to do one of those Krampus sequels. That would have been fun.
I'm in for it. So, this holiday season, when someone greets you with a Merry Christmas, feel free to respond with Merry Christmas to you, and may Krampus not take your child away in a basket.
I don't think I'll say that.
I might.
You might.
I might.
But what else is there to be said? Krampus is a really, really fun thing. My favorite thing is when someone called him the shadow of Saint Nicholas.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds like that would be like his side project. You know, it's like I am the shadow of Saint Nick.
I do think it's kind of funny that in America, in the United States, seemingly they were just like, okay, that's a bit much. Instead of our kids who are bad get viciously beaten, maybe we give them a lump of coal.
Yeah, I wonder where the
Maybe we give them a lump of coal instead.
that would be interesting to know. Where did the lump of coal come from? So you're right, that replaced Krampus.
Yeah, but you know what? That was in a time where a lump of coal might actually save your life because you needed the fire. So, that's not a bad gift, actually.
Bob Cratchit was begging for one from Mr. Scrooge.
Yeah. Please, sir, can we have one more shovel of coal for the bookkeepers? How would the bookkeepers like to be unemployed? It is an island in the sun. Oi, oi! I want you all to know that is from memory a piece of Muppet Christmas Carol.
So it looks like Italian. In Italian folklore, La Befana is a witch who leaves coal for bad children and gifts for good children.
Really?
And that translates
So it's like
to
their
Santa
version
Claus.
of Santa Claus, yeah. There was that witch, the Lalavana or whatever you just mentioned. She was in the Santa Claus series for Disney Plus, the Tim Allen series. They actually brought that witch into the folklore.
Cool.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of fun.
Interesting. And I love the Scots. They're in Scotland. Coal is associated with luck and is given as a gift in winter to keep a home warm.
That's what I was
Yeah.
saying. Like, coal ain't a bad gift back when that legend started. But hey, whatever. There's a lot of really cool and creepy creatures like that witch we were just talking about. There's a bunch of other ones too. And in fact, we have a whole list of them here. It's kind of an add-on to this week's spooky stuff. I'm just going to call it Other Christmas Creeps. Are you down?
I'm down. Let's do this.
All right, here are some other Christmas creeps.
Suck it, Grinch. I'm kidding. Belsnickel. In some ways, this monster is a lot like Krampus, although there are some differences. Belsnickel is a German monster who visits children to whip them into shape as a foil to jolly St. Nicholas.
As a foil, so he's just an enemy.
Yeah.
So he's just like, any kid who gets a good toy, I'm going to come back and just beat the crap out of him.
Right, and then Santa's like rushing in, and he's like, oh, I was too late. I'm
Oh my-
sorry.
Oh my God.
Kid's just in the corner. Belsnickel's name comes from bells, an older German word for fur, and nickel as a nod to St. Nicholas. He wears a mask and dresses in all furs and is said to visit alone and quiz children before deciding to either reward them with a gift or punish them with a wooden rod.
It's the worst game show ever.
Dude.
You're going to get a new car, or I'm going to stab you in the face.
I'm
Like,
going
oh
to-
my God.
I'm going to beat the daylights out of you if you get this wrong.
Did you ever hear of a caning? That shit is real, and I have a cane right here.
What is the air speed velocity of an unladen swallow? Belsnickel may have originated around the Middle
No, it's a
Ages.
good point. What is he quizzing them on? Can you imagine the most obscure topics? Like, he comes to you and he's like, let me ask you about very obscure facts of botany.
I feel like it would be like
what?
I feel like it would be like the special test from Fallout, where it's like, Grandma told you to go next door and kill your neighbor. What do you do? Do you tell the police? Do you do what she says because all good boys listen to their grandmothers? Or it's like a morality test, maybe?
Yeah, it's with the trolley problem, where it's, if we keep going on this track, we're gonna hit this dude, and this dude in front of us is like our best friend. We know him, we love him. It's one guy. Now we last minute can change to the change tracks, but then we're gonna hit 5 people, but we don't know any of them, and it's the trolley problem. Like, what's worse, like. Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Like he does like the kitten in
Is
the box.
that the trolley problem? I think I got that correct. I don't know.
I think that's right.
We're not gonna look it up, but I'm pretty sure that was it.
But yeah, no, that's what I'm guessing. He's got to do something like that. It's like a morality. Yeah, like how good are you? So Belsnickel, he may have originated in the Middle Ages and is now well known across Pennsylvania, thanks
Pennsylvania. Yep.
thanks to German immigrants who moved to the area known as the Pennsylvania Dutch.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
So
Pennsylvania's got a
in
lot
this
of
spot in
Germans.
Pennsylvania, there's just they're like, oh yeah, that bell snickle, yeah, that's a real problem.
That would be a real problem. I just don't want to get beat to death with a wooden rod.
Because I got a trivia question wrong.
Like, yeah, and it's like
he walks up to you, he's like, what is the capital of Maine? Like, fuck, dude, that's
Portland.
smack. Oh my god.
So here's another one. The Yule lads, their parents, and their cat.
Da 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 da.
From Iceland. The Yule lads are 13 mischievous boys, each with a distinct name and description, who cause mayhem in the 13 days leading up to Christmas. They dwell in a mountainous cave with their parents and a cat.
Strangely specific, but go ahead.
Lepaluo, their dad, is lazy and strays from the cave. And their mom, Grilla, is a giantess who seeks out naughty children to add to her stew. Their cat's name...
We're just going to blow past the fact that she's a cannibal?
Yep. Blow right past it to the cat's name.
Let's talk about what's important.
And his name is Jalakaturin, and is also known as the Yule Cat.
We call him Fluffers.
The Yule Cat is a giant black cat who lurks the countryside to devour anyone who isn't wearing new clothes.
Once again, strangely specific.
The Yule Lad's first written mention was in a 17th century poem. And in 1746, the Icelandic government banned parents from telling scary stories about them to their kids. Today, they have a merrier connotation and are said to come down from the mountains to celebrate and entertain.
You know what? I'm sick of us cleaning up all these legends. These horrible kids used to cause mischief with their cannibal mother and I don't know, they just said their father is kind of like wanders off and he's drunk,
I guess. And
anyways, how does that turn into la 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 la?
Right, and
coming down from the mountain to spread cheer.
And the government banning parents from telling scary stories about the lads is interesting. It's like,
oh yeah.
So what, were they just traumatizing like whole generations? And they're like, we have like a whole working class of people with severe PTSD we have to stop
over this one legend.
Like over this one legend. Yeah, like we have to stop.
I don't know, Ryan. Enough. I'll tell you what I think happened. One of those Yule lads got into power. Yeah, and they're trying to hide the truth so their evil reign may continue.
That's right. And then the cat, Jalakaturin.
Yeah, that sounds like the demon who's really in charge here. Let's be honest.
I mean, yeah, what a cool name, Jalakaturin.
Oh my God, I was looking for a name for our next kid.
There you go.
Jalakaturin. My wife will love that. Buddy, so we're trying to come up with a good name for our kid because it's Paradox, right? That's our first kid.
Yeah.
Well, the second kid can't be like Steve. Can't be like Paradox and Jim. We got to come up with something good.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're in a pickle.
We set the bar too high.
I was about to say you set the bar pretty high there, sir. So
we're looking at Hilo, like Halo. See, like I can't even say the name, so that's a bad choice. Then we're looking at Orion, which I kind of like, but then for sure it'd be Ryan. And I just always thought Ryan was a really stupid name. Like I've never met a Ryan who wasn't a horrible, horrible human being.
Let me tell you, and the only reason that Bryans exist is because one day Orion gave up. Everybody calls me Brian. I'm telling you, one day Orion just went, fuck it, I am Brian.
Yeah,
and that day he went down to the Secretary of State or wherever is where you go to officially change all your shit, and he changed his name legally to Brian.
He's like, I'm done. You guys win.
Like almost every pizza place I go to and I look at when I order carry out or anything like that, my receipt always says Brian.
Every time.
And
I go to Starbucks on the cup it says Brian.
Yep. Every time, man. And I don't even think, how am I saying it wrong? Ryan. Like, how is it hard? I don't understand.
I don't know, man.
Brian.
I feel bad for anyone named Joel.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna get Joe every time.
No, and I kind of did a number on my firstborn. His name is Thorin, which is great. You know, if you're
Thorin's awesome.
it's great, but so many people just go Thorin, like a thorn on a rose bush.
That's not so bad though, because it still sounds the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you think about? All right, so this was an actual contender for the next kid's name, Cypher.
Just go full Pokemon and call him Scyther.
No. Moving on to the next Christmas creep.
Frau Perkta. From Austria and Germany, Frau Perkta, also known as Berkta and other variations, is a goddess from Alpine paganism in the early Middle Ages. She's associated with Berktentag, or the Fest of the Epiphany, which takes place on the 12th night after Christmas.
The feast.
Oh, it says fest.
Is it fest?
The
Is it
fest-
festival? So is it short?
The Fest of Epiphany,
Oh, that makes more sense. All right, you win.
which takes place on the 12th night after Christmas on January 6th.
Hmm.
Her name means bright one because depending on your behavior, she could either appear as a bright, youthful woman or as a scary older witch with a long beaked nose, one large foot, tattered clothes, and a knife under her skirt.
Wow. Can you imagine if how you looked all depended on how other people acted? That'd be terrible.
No
You
wonder.
yeah.
No wonder I'm so ugly.
Oh. Look what you're doing to Ryan, America.
You gave me the ugly. Perkta is known to torment people who didn't properly celebrate the 12 days of Christmas. If you spun yarn on a holiday or didn't feast properly, Perkta was said to come to your house while you slept, slit your belly, rip out your guts, and replace them with straw and pebbles.
So don't spin yarn, I guess. Now here's the question. Now are we saying spin yarn like like a job, like don't work?
Yeah,
Or
you're
are
not
we
supposed to. Yeah, you're not supposed to work on a holiday.
Or is it spin yarn like, telling a tale? Like you can't be lying. You
I
can't
don't-
tell me a tall tale on this day. Like I'm spinning a yarn.
I don't know. That is
Makes you question everything, right?
it does.
I'm sure it's working. I was just being silly. But what a dramatic response. Now,
Yeah.
she comes into your room. What was that? She comes into your room.
Yeah, she either appears as a bright, youthful woman.
No. The slitting of the belly thing.
Yes. She was said to come to your house while you slept if you didn't feast properly, or if you spun yarn on holiday. She would slit your belly, rip out your guts, and replace them with straw and pebbles.
See, that seems like the weird part. Like, why would you replace it with straw and pebbles? You're either having just a lot of fun, like you're just getting a lot of glee, like, hee, organs, hooray! Or it's just to freak people out. It's like, I never mind. It's like that show I'm watching From. There's these monsters, and they just do things like that, where they just kind of play with people when they kill them, and it's what makes that show so creepy. So, I don't know. This lady freaked me out. Like, this is, what is it, Frau
Perkta.
Perkta. That is kind of scary. It's like, and you know what's funny is like the thing wants you to celebrate. Like, have fun at this party, or I'll fucking kill you.
Well, and if this goes back to us saying, like, what if this is just, excuse me, like parents trying to scare their kids? It's like, yeah, it's like, or she'll show up as a scary witch, blah, blah. And the kid was like, that's not scary. And it's like, oh, yeah, well, then she'll cut open your stomach and pull out your guts and replace it with straw and pebbles. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's
Like,
so extreme.
like that was, to me, that was the double down.
Yeah,
Like it started with, oh, watch out for Frau Perkta. You want her to appear pretty, right? So you better be good. And like, that's not scary. It's like, okay.
well, shit.
Like pebbles and straw in your freaking stomach. What do you think then?
It's just like,
Hans.
oh my God. You took that from 4 to 11.
So we have another joyful
Christmas
creature.
creep. I want to hear
Christmas creep.
What is this Christmas creep?
Nisse from Norway. A Nisse, known as a tomte in Sweden, is what we'd think of as a gnome, a tiny bearded man wearing a red cone-shaped hat. In the year 1200, a Swedish man found a 6-inch tall wooden statue depicting one in a fisherman's house in Norway with the words Nisse riktig storas, which translates to
Yeah, what does that translate to?
Nisse correct size. They like to stay around farms.
Wait, hold on. So the actual wooden statue said this is the correct size.
Yeah, made to
implying
scale.
of the gnome. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in.
They like to stay around farms and help with chores. In return, they request a bowl of porridge with butter on top. If they don't get that, they will wreak havoc.
Oh man.
When the Nisse got no butter on his Christmas porridge is a tale about a girl putting butter on the bottom of a Nisse's porridge instead of on the top. When the Nisse first saw the porridge, he got upset and killed the farm's best cow. Then came back to eat the porridge. Upon discovering the butter at the bottom, he felt remorse and stole the neighbor's best cow to replace the one he killed.
All right, that sounds nice, but how do you explain that to your neighbor?
Like,
He's like, you stole my fucking. No.
It was
No,
the Nisse, dude.
It was the Nisse. It was he clearly. It is funny that it kind of felt bad. It's also funny that they're like, no, dude, this is we. It's like what I want is so simple. It's porridge and butter on top. You horrible little girl. I'm gonna go kill your cow.
I feel like this is the average American in the drive-thru, right? Like just you didn't give me my sauce. Like like just people just like and then he comes and he's like, oh, it was underneath the napkins. I'm sorry, it was under the napkins.
Oh, we got the sauce. We got the sauce, honey. We got the sauce.
Yeah, but
we're
you
fine.
know, there was a full-on raging moment, fast food explosion.
Well, it
And-
sucks when you. Okay, so something like nuggets. If you're gonna have nuggets, sauce is kind of an important part of that. Like very few people are like, dry nuggets.
You know, that's my child. He does the dry nugget. If I provide,
Your child eats those nuggets dry.
he does them dry, and and sometimes he likes the ketchup. I'll give him ketchup. He'll dabble.
Sure.
My brother's son, I literally bought him a giant bottle of Heinz ketchup for Christmas, and he lost his mind. Like he seriously will eat a bowl of ketchup. I've seen him spooning ketchup out of a bowl.
I mean, okay, so we're gonna go on another tangent. That reminds me of this really sad commercial I used to watch, and it was this weird, like, kind of woman who was clearly like not well off, and she kept stealing ketchup packets from fast food places, and people were giving her weird looks, and then she'd get home, and then she was putting all these ketchup packets in a pan,
Oh my god!
and then filled it up with water to kind of like make tomato soup, and then she was trying to feed it to her two kids who were obviously really hungry, and like one of them takes a sip, and he's like, I don't like it, and she's like, just eat it, and then it like cut to black. It was like, you should give to hungry children, and it was the most depressing commercial I've ever seen in my entire life. Like Sarah McLachlan with the dogs had nothing on that commercial.
I wouldn't have been surprised if that was a commercial for rope.
For rope?
Yeah, to hang yourself
Oh
after
my
you
God.
watch it. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, it was so
oh my
dark.
God!
Oh my God, yeah.
Like, what are you doing, right? Nothing. Just trying to find a good branch. Like, dude, absolutely not. Give me the a Clockwork Orange me with the Sarah McLachlan Sad
Yeah,
Puppies
yeah.
commercial. Other than show me that. Strap me in. I will enjoy it. Give me popcorn. I will love it. Compared to having to sit through that, thank
was a rough
God I
commercial.
did not watch that commercial. I feel like that would scar me for life.
I'm gonna try to find it, and it'll
No.
be my Christmas present to you.
No. Like,
Well, anyways, back to this Christmas creep. The Nisse.
Nisse.
Anyways, there's this really great movie called "There's Something in the Barn." That is the name of the
I
movie.
did want to watch that.
And Martin Starr is the lead in it, and it is about this exact
The
creature.
Nisse,
Yeah, it
the
is
Nisse.
about because in the thing they're like he does chores and they have to give him porridge. It's all in there, and so if you want to watch a feature film about this Christmas creep, it's called "There's Something in the Barn."
I believe that's on Netflix right now. I want to say I saw it there.
So Ryan, what's our next Christmas creep?
Hans Trap, Joe.
Oh,
From a region in France, Hans Trap, also known as the Christmas Scarecrow, was derived from the real story of a knight named Hans van Trotha. Von Trotha lived in the 1400s and got in arguments with the Catholic Church over property, which eventually led to him being excommunicated after he destroyed a dam that flooded a village.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, that seems like a lot of property damage. Might even be a little bit of murder. I mean, that's fair. I don't know.
Just a teensy weensy bit of murder.
And let's be honest, back then there was no at all separation of church and state, so being excommunicated is probably really bad, like just in your day-to-day life.
Why am I just thinking of? I'm just thinking of the South Park episode of Canada when Canada was on strike, and he's like, "You're just afraid that we're going to set you adrift." And they just set him adrift on the ice chunk, and it's the famous back and forth.
Yeah,
I'm not your friend, buddy. Not your buddy, guy.
I'm not your guy, friend. I'm not your friend, buddy. Yeah. You know, there was another movie that did that. There was an Elijah Wood movie that came out in the mid-90s called North, where he was basically trying to find better parents, and he went on a world-trotting adventure trying to find the perfect parents. Well, one of his set of parents
I kind of feel like I saw that.
You probably did. It was a great movie. Well, one of the parents were Eskimos, and the whole thing was they were getting the grandpa, putting him on an iceberg, just like you said, and setting him adrift, just launching him off on this iceberg to float away,
right.
because they said that's what Eskimos do with their old people. I don't know if they actually do. Well, what I remember is like, some Eskimos had like this guy had like an Easy Boy and a television, like this really comfy thing, and they push him off the ice. And then when it came for our grandpa to come, it was just like a wood stool, and that was it. He sat on it. They pushed him off. He's like, "It's fine. Don't worry. This is what happens."
So the legend of Hans Trapp.
Right, Hans Trapp.
Says he was a greedy man who was exiled for working with the devil to get more wealthy. While exiled, he disguised himself as a scarecrow and snatched up children to eat.
Num 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 num, kids.
So now he's eating kids. Went from just getting into arguments with the Catholic Church to eating kids.
Well, it makes sense though. The Catholic Church excommunicates the guy, so they're gonna like, oh, we have to demonize him. You know, like, you know that guy we kicked out? Yeah, he eats kids.
He eats children.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Catholic Church lying? Never. He then got struck by a lightning bolt and died. But he is said to reappear in his scarecrow attire at Christmas time, preying on naughty children for food.
See, this seems like a weird B movie. It would be like a Christmas movie where they have a scarecrow killer who's going around eating kids. And I would not believe that it was really a Christmas legend. Like, I'd be like, this is the dumbest B movie ever. Why is there a scarecrow running around Christmas? I don't think they've done this. We need to make this movie.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, it would be a Hans Trapp. Well, you could call it like the Christmas scarecrow or something like that. You could do something like that.
I'm gonna just call it the Christmas Trap.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
The Christmas Trap, spelt the way his name is, Trapp.
Oh yeah, you have to.
So, that's a good one, Joe. That's a perfect name. There we go. We've got the name. We can make the movie.
And with that, we've come to our final Christmas creep.
He's almost kind of like, sorry, I just have to say this in a weird way. He kind of like reminds me almost of like almost a Christmas Krueger.
Hans Trapp.
Yeah, a little bit.
He's your Christmas Krueger, gonna slice up your dreams just like your neck, Christmas Krueger. Yeah, then he goes num 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 as he eats your kids.
Oh, by the way, he's a scarecrow.
Got struck by lightning.
And now he eats kids.
And he's not a fan of the church, just saying.
Got into many arguments.
Huh. I'd watch the show. I don't know if it would make it to a second season, but I'd be in. I'd see their arc.
The pilot will be lit.
And once
like
again,
a Christmas tree.
And once again, that brings us to our final Christmas creep.
The Kalakantzaroi.
The what?
The Kalakantzaroi.
The Kalakantzaroi.
The Kalakantzaroi. From Greece in southeastern Europe, the Kalakantzaroi are a group of blind black goblins who live underground during most of the year, sawing at the world tree, a motif throughout various folklores that connects the heavens to the earth. They emerge during the 12 days of Christmas to wreak havoc and turn children and turn children born during that same time into fellow Calicanzaroi.
Oh,
So if you were
bad timing.
born during the 12 days of Christmas, you are now a blind, underground dwelling goblin.
Would that be me? No, I think I miss it by a day. I was born on the 12th, right? So the 12 days of Christmas would be from the 25th.
Yeah,
Just
wow,
missed it.
you just missed it,
Nice.
dude.
Nice.
Could have been a goblin though. That might have been cool.
Maybe.
Maybe there's an upside.
I don't know. I do like Lord of the Rings.
If you want to protect your child, bind them in straw and garlic. If you want to protect your house, keep a fire burning and place a colander outside the door. The Calicanzaroi will get distracted trying to count the holes, but will get lost at 3 because it's a holy number. So you just have to put out 4 holes into something.
Not to be specific, but if you can only count to whatever, can't you just put a number of anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just saying a colander, I guess, just the easiest thing. It's got a lot of holes in it.
Oh, you could really fuck with them. Have 4 doorknobs. It wouldn't know how to handle getting into your house at all.
That's true.
Yeah. You just have a sign.
Well, it's got to be something that distracts him though, because he wants to
put a sign on the door saying to open door, open the 4th doorknob.
Or like knock 4 times.
What does that have to do with counting? Oh, duh.
Yeah, he'd be like 1, 2. God damn it.
that holy number.
I didn't know. I didn't even know that 3 is a holy number. Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Yeah, the Trinity. That makes sense.
Duh. And that's what they said. I remember in the movie The Conjuring, it knocks 3 times. It's an insult to the Holy Trinity. That's why ghosts often knock 3 times.
Well, you know what? This knocked my socks off.
It did. Thank you, Krampus.
Thank you, Krampus, and all your Christmas creeps and friends. Now, that was a hell of a spooky stuff.
It was a hell of a spooky stuff. It was very, dare I say, jolly. It was quite jolly.
Well, we're going to step away from the Christmas theme just for a second and do our next segment, which is all about aliens. And that, of course, is...
Disclosure discussion. Ha 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 ha. It's about aliens and stuff.
Strange UFOs over Oregon baffle pilots. This comes to us from coasttocoastam.com. On Saturday, December 7th, several pilots reported seeing unidentified flying objects in the skies above Oregon. The sightings included strange red circular lights moving at incredibly fast speeds. According to KPTV, a United Airlines pilot flying from Denver to Eugene reported seeing these lights that Saturday night. The pilot described the lights as shooting way up to altitudes as high as 50,000 feet. In addition to the United States Airlines pilot, a medevac pilot flying from Aurora to North Bend also reported seeing the UFOs. The pilot said one of the lights moved in a corkscrew pattern and noted they were zipping towards us and back out towards the ocean. Air traffic control ruled out military activity, and drones are said to be unable to fly at this height. So that is a mystery.
That is a mystery. And it's always nice because 2 pilots are the ones that reported it.
Yes, and I tend to believe the pilots because, why? They're up there. They're going to see it.
Well, also, they're just credible.
Correct.
I mean, you know what I mean? A pilot isn't usually, they're usually not crackheads or drinks or, you know what I mean? Usually.
Usually,
it happens.
yeah.
But they're credible people. I don't know. So, guys, we have the audio from, here, listen to it. This is the pilots reporting live. They're the audio. Here we go.
Just had another one show up about my 1 o'clock, about 1,000 feet high, zipping towards us and then back out towards the ocean. It's red in color, moving at extreme speeds. Is there any military activity out straight ahead of us?
No, we're not seeing anything. I had another one report at like 30,000 feet in the Eugene area. We're not sure what it is.
Foxtrot, Roger. You are cleared to maneuver as necessary, left and right, to avoid the UFO out there.
All right, that was good. Thank you, Joe, for finding that, adding that to the disclosure discussion today. But yeah, so what do you guys think? Please, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Email us at Earthling Entertainment Podcast wienermobile@gmail.com. Also, you can share a story that you've either heard or experienced yourself. We would love to cover it, even if it comes to anything, that we've covered here on the first section of the podcast, whether it be spooky or something when it comes to UFOs or
Basically,
interdimensional, anything like that.
yeah, we'd love to hear your experiences. If you've seen a UFO or if you have an experience being haunted, we will interview you and put you on the show. And yeah.
Even if you got like a story from grandma or grandpa or something that they saw. I know that my grandma, she said that she saw a UFO.
Oh, yeah? That's weird, man.
Straight up. They were coming out of Florida. She said, and my grandpa is former U.S. Air Force, and he was driving, and she pointed it out to him. Like, she said it was like just off into this field, basically keeping up with them. My grandma said.
Just kind of like following them?
Kind of, right? Or maybe it was just like sitting at a point or whatever where it looks like it's hovering,
Sure, sure.
And my grandpa, she said, stone-faced, wouldn't look, just kept driving. Wouldn't even
I
look.
don't see nothing.
Yeah. So, and like I said, so he was U.S. Air Force. So, who knows? Maybe he knew something. But stories like that, we love that kind of stuff, and we will totally share it.
Yeah. I love the weird, man. I want to hear more about it.
Me too.
Yeah, and especially things that happen in real life.
Real world weird.
Oscar Mayer opens applications to get behind the wheel of an American icon, the Wiener Mobile.
Finally.
This comes to us from CraftHeinzCompany.com. Pittsburgh and Chicago, hot dog. Today, Oscar Mayer announced the opening.
Hold on, you gotta do it again. You gotta be excited, like, well, hot dog.
I said it the way George Bailey says it in It's a Wonderful Life, because he would always be like, I wish I had $1 million. Hot dog. So I did it. I did it that way. And that was a Christmas movie.
Fair enough. Just start it over anyways.
Pittsburgh and Chicago, hot dog. Today, Oscar Mayer announced the opening of Hot Dogger applications, inviting fans to apply for a 1-year full-time paid gig behind the wheel of the iconic Wiener Mobile. Open through January 31st, the relished position offers fans the opportunity to become official spokespeople of the brand while driving out its mission, Sparkling Smiles.
Oh. This is full of the puns.
I love it. Chosen applicants will represent the 37th class of hot doggers, joining a rich history of spreading joy and wiener whistles to adoring fans. Traveling an average of 20,000 miles each year, hot doggers visit at least 40 cities across the country and attend more than 1,200 events. Each member of the class is entrusted with driving and maintaining the 27-foot hot dog on wheels, along with creating social content for the brand's channels during their meet and greets across the country.
Aha, very punny. But also, if you're an influencer and you don't have a van, this could be your van life dreams.
I imagine they'd cover all the maintenance
Hashtag
costs.
Wiener life.
Yeah, so I'm sure the gas would be covered. I'm sure you get free wieners for life. Who wouldn't like free wieners for life?
I don't know, man. It would be kind of cool. Continue, though. There's more to this gig.
The title of a hot dogger is a rare and coveted position.
I'm coveting it.
Unique to those seeking adventure and a once-in-a-lifetime experience, said Ed Rowland, top dog and senior manager brand communications for Oscar Mayer at the Kraft Heinz Company.
Man, you want to see his plaque, on his desk? That's a long title.
That is 2 times we have mentioned Heinz on this podcast. I mentioned Heinz ketchup earlier.
Well,
Statistically speaking, more people have visited space than driven the Wiener Mobile. We take pride in welcoming the next class who will continue to uphold the tradition of sparkling smiles and bringing buns of fun to fans across the U.S.
Buns of fun.
Buns of fun.
Let's meet each other. I relish it. These people are ridiculous.
Hot dog.
Aha.
Hot doggers go above and beyond traditional spokesperson duties to represent the iconic Wiener Mobile, a sizzling fixture in American zeitgeist.
Zeitgeist, yes.
Zeitgeist. It hit the highways in 1936.
Well, hot dog.
In recent years, hot doggers enjoyed a trip to Puerto Rico for the first time in more than 50 years, married 12 couples at the Little White Chapel in Las Vegas, and introduced the first ever hot dog flavored frozen pop to fans in New York City. The coveted hot dogger title is granted to 12 applicants who cut the mustard.
Oh no, but this is a real thing. If you go to the Heinz, what is it? If you go to the website, you could apply to be a hot dogger. And that, I mean, if I was single, I would totally do that. You spend a year traveling around the country, or just the Midwest. It looks like giving out weenie whistles and showing up to like hot dog centric events. I mean, you have to be really into hot dogs, or at the very least, not a vegan. But it seems like it would be a really fun job. If I was 20 something, dude, I would absolutely sign up to do that.
You'd have to memorize the song, right? Wasn't there?
I wish I
Yeah.
were an Oscar Mayer wiener.
There you go.
That's what I truly would like to be.
There you go.
Because
man.
if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener,
Joe knows the whole thing.
then everyone would be in love with me.
Oh,
That's right.
That's
I'm
right.
halfway there. I could make my dreams of driving a giant wiener come to life.
you can become a hot dogger.
I gotta be honest, it actually was my dream to drive that. Now I'm talking as a kid, because we live near a place called the Henry Ford. It's a museum. And I don't know if they still have it there, but they had a hot dog mobile. They had an Oscar Mayer hot dog mobile on display. So ever since I was a kid, I went there, and you could get like the wax figures of the hot dog thing. You could get postcards of the hot dog mobile.
I
You
want
could
to
take
say
a
they've
picture
still got
next
it.
to the hot dog mobile.
I want to say they've got it there. It's like the older one though.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying. So the fact that this is a thing that someone can do, it's like I tip my hat to the young bucks who are out there willing to do it. But me, my time has passed.
I know. Yeah, sometimes you got to pass the wiener torch, Joe.
You gotta pass the bun to the next wiener.
That's right. You gotta. You gotta.
Earthling Entertainment special report. Number 1, Apple TV Plus renews Silo for season 3 and final season 4. Number 2, HBO will no longer make new episodes of Sesame Street. They will, however, hang on to the back catalog of episodes through 2027. But Sesame Street new episodes is currently looking for a new home. Oh no! Earthling Entertainment special report! Nailed it. Yeah. It's true, you made it through to the second half of the show.
I think that brings us to Music Mumbles.
That's right. And guys, we always have stories about rock stars dealing with ghosts or demons, but not that many dealing with aliens. And just like last week and probably next week, we decided we're going to do that a little bit. So here's some stories.
Music Mumbles.
Rock stars and aliens.
This comes to us from loudersound.com. Tom DeLonge, over the years, the Blink-182 guitarist has emerged as a voice crying out in the cosmic wilderness that aliens exist. He said as much in his band's 1999 hit, Aliens Exist.
Yeah, he was pretty clear.
In 2015, DeLonge claimed, I have sources from the government. I have had my phone tapped, alluding to covert communications with officials about UFOs. His passion culminated in the formation of To the Stars Academy of Arts and Sciences, a company dedicated to researching fringe science in alien life forms. In the wake of the congressional hearings, shirts stating, Tom was right, aliens fucking exist, are now available for purchase at the company's web store. For To the Stars Academy of Arts and Sciences.
I want a shirt that says Tom was right. Aliens fucking exist.
I want one too now.
Huh. Nice. Well, Tom DeLonge, wasn't he behind like a bunch of government stuff? Like,
Oh yeah,
and he got behind like a TV show like the Unexplained with what you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about. I believe it's just called The Unexplained, and he did a great job on a lot of. He's been on so many podcasts.
He's spreading the word.
Yeah, he's spreading the word. He was on Steve-O, talking about Steve-O has a podcast.
Not surprising. Great guy.
And
I met him once at Veggie Grill.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I
he
love-
signed my longboard. I was very happy. Almost got fired, but it was worth it.
Yeah, dude. But no, I listened to him talk on that for quite a long time about it, and he's really doubling down. Now he's saying they're really not like aliens as we would think. He's going more the interdimensional route. Like,
Well, that would explain a lot if they were interdimensional, but extraterrestrial technically just means not of this Earth. So,
Correct.
So they're extraterrestrial, whether they're from a different dimension or not, right?
right.
Yeah, yeah.
So
You know who else believed in extraterrestrials?
John Lennon
What?
in 1974, amidst his infamous Lost Weekend, John Lennon was so transfixed by a mysterious craft that he declared in the linear notes of 1974's Walls and Bridges. On the 23rd August 1974 at 9 o'clock, I saw a UFO. Speaking with Interview magazine, he described a thing with ordinary electric light bulbs flashing on and off around the bottom, one non-blinking red light at the top, around 100 feet away, hovering over an adjacent building. Despite the psychedelic enhancements on offer at the time, Lennon insisted he was lucid, and his then girlfriend May Pang backed up his story detail for detail.
Okay, but the thing that gets me is what he sees is this hovering ship with regular light bulbs.
Regular lights.
So that feels more like the government or somebody else was trying to mess with his head,
Yeah.
and not he actually saw an alien spaceship. Although it would be kind of funny if alien spaceship had a cloak that just made it look like a piece of crap.
Look crappy.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Right? That'd be really funny.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. So, I don't know. Does it discredit him a little bit that he was on acid? I'm going to go ahead and say a little bit, yeah.
Well, he says he was sober. Okay, I mean, there was acid there, but he wasn't on it at the time.
He said he was lucid.
Yes.
So, I don't know. We will never know. But I'm going to go ahead and say when it comes to a dude like John Lennon, I'll give it a solid maybe.
Well, you know, the guys who came up with the yellow submarine couldn't have possibly been on mounds and mounds of drugs.
Mounds. I like the description of mounds. That is a lot.
Speaking of mounds of drugs, no, I'm kidding.
I can't drive 55. Oh, sorry. Sammy Hagar.
Ooh.
Former frontman of Van Halen claims to have been the subject of a full-on alien abduction. Discussing the incident with singer-songwriter Kesha, Hagar claimed that aliens tunneled into his consciousness from a mountain 13 miles away. It was real, he insisted, stating, they had a wire. It was not a hard wire, but they had a circuit that was in me. And they hollered out a numerical code, and they said, oh, he's waking up. We've got to end this. Like DeLong, Hagar believes that the government has known about extraterrestrial life for decades, asking, why have they kept it a secret? It's earth-shattering.
Okay, well, his experience actually sounds a little bit like an abduction.
Yeah.
Or, you know, or even if the government had abducted him. It seems like that seems like he might have repressed memories from something that may have happened.
Right.
I mean, that's the way I feel.
Or maybe, yeah, like some kind of like early testing of technology. It's like, who do we use it on? Sammy Hagar.
You know, it is funny though, if you're the government, you want to test something on people who aren't credible, you get like rock stars or someone who like, well, they have a history of drug abuse. So if they see, you know, Black Hitler making a panini, it's not going to be that weird. Oh man.
But yeah, no, rock stars and aliens. I like the idea that aliens are, if they took interest in us, it makes sense that they would take interest in celebrities because they're probably like, what makes this person, you know,
Yeah.
different? Why do they all
Why is this
worship
a ruler
this person?
or a god?
Right. Why do they love this person so much? Like, you know, they all watch this person on their TVs at home, and they're you know, it's got to be perplexing to a being that doesn't really operate or think the way we do, or at least hasn't for quite some time. So they've just progressed so much, right? So we're probably weird. We're such a young race as far as we know.
Yeah, it would be like studying chimpanzees.
Right.
Huh.
And it's interesting on a random, you know that orangutans have been seen using medicine, like using like herbal stuff and using it for medicine. And
That's pretty cool.
we literally I want to say we just saw that this year for the first time. Kind of like how I remember it was a big deal. We saw them using rocks and sticks,
As
as tools.
yeah.
Now we're literally seeing them using medicine.
I mean, I feel like at this point, is it not clear they're talking to each other? There's some monkey language.
Right.
I mean, clearly.
They say they've entered like their Stone Age in a way. It's pretty cool.
It is
I don't know
pretty
why
cool.
I mentioned that. I don't know. I just because that I guess I
Because
was
we're
making
talking
a point.
about rock stars, so monkeys using medicine is clearly the natural transition.
I think my point was that we observe, these monkeys doing this, and we're like, holy moly, So it makes sense why an alien would abduct Tom DeLonge or mess with Tom DeLonge or Sammy Hagar, because they're just like, they're curious. They're like,
Sammy, get in the fucking
like
saucer.
this one can't drive 55. Why?
Oh, that was stupid. I liked it.
Thank you.
Calling all comic fans, it's time to feed your brain at Green Brain Comics, where the freshest new issues, graphic novels, and manga hit the shelves every week. Whether you're looking for the hottest new series or the latest small press sensation, we've got it all. Every genre for every age, Green Brain Comics is your one-stop shop for all things graphic storytelling. Got questions? Our friendly staff knows their stuff. Whether you're a longtime fan or new to the world of comics, we've got recommendations that'll keep you coming back for more. And don't forget to check out our special events. Green Brain Comics is not just a store, it's a community. Located in East Downtown Dearborn, we are at Green Brain Comics on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Shop online at greenbraincomics.com, and remember to feed your brain at Green Brain Comics.
Earthling Entertainment headlines.
The Greatest Showman director may take on the live-action remake of Disney's Tangled. This comes to us from Nerdist.com. There's simply no stopping the Disney live-action remake train. The latest animated classic that's getting an updated version at the House of Mouse is none other than Tangled. According to a report in Deadline, The Greatest Showman director Michael Gracie is looking to sign on to direct a live-action version of Walt Disney Animation's rendition of Rapunzel. Jennifer Caton Robinson, screenwriter of Thor, Love and Thunder, and the I Know What You Did Last Summer remake, wrote the most recent screenplay. So get ready to make your Rapunzel, Flynn, Ryder, and Mother Gothel fan castings known.
Yeah.
Alongside the currently filming Moana remake.
Yeah, they're doing a live-action Moana, but you know what's funny? The Rock's playing the same character he did.
Tangled marks a pretty big departure from how Disney approached these live-action remakes before. Starting with Alice in Wonderland in 2010, Disney remade classics from at least one or more generations ago. Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King came out over 25 years after their original versions hit theaters. Meanwhile, movies like Cinderella came out 65 years after the iconic animated film. The original Tangled came out in 2010, not even 15 years ago.
I mean, it's better than Moana, but fair enough.
Both Tangled and Moana still feel like very modern tales of movies in style, and a new modern version feels especially redundant.
Yeah, I don't think we need it.
I felt the same way, and I loved Moana. Like, I loved that movie, and like I didn't even see the second one, and I definitely don't care for a live action one.
I heard the second one was good. It made like $700 million in like 10 days.
Oh, I hit it. Yeah, I heard it did great. Much better than, in my opinion, the Frozen sequel was horrible. I hated it, honestly.
Well, strap in. They're making Frozen 3 and 4.
Hopefully it's better. Nevertheless, from a business standpoint, if nothing else, we hate to say it makes more sense. Disney's live-action remakes have been a stealth multi-billion-dollar cash cow for the studio. Movies like Alice in Wonderland, Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, and Aladdin each raked in over $1 billion at the box office. Disney no doubt wants to mine their more recent hits, fresh in the minds of audiences. This is probably why the studio relegated movies like Pinocchio and Cruella to Disney Plus only, although the upcoming Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs seems to buck that trend. If a Tangled remake succeeds, then Frozen isn't far behind. Prepare to hear Let It Go, Everywhere You Go, again.
I do think that they're not going to do the Frozen live action remake until they finish the animated ones, but I could be wrong because, like we just talked about, their Moana 2 is coming out or came out a few weeks ago, and they're doing that remake. So I don't know. I don't think it'll ever stop. What confuses me is what took Disney so long to do a Rapunzel film, anyways, because that film came out in 2010 when all the other Disney princesses were a lot earlier. I guess you can count. I mean, is Pocahontas a Disney princess? I don't know. I guess Ariel is.
I
I
get,
don't know.
yeah, I think they were trying to pull from stories maybe that like the modern, like the typical American maybe hadn't heard before.
Yeah.
And we all heard Rapunzel. Like that was a very popular like kids story and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
so.
but back in the 50s and when they were making them, had everyone heard of Rapunzel?
I'm gonna go ahead just from what I'm thinking. Probably, yeah. It was probably
I don't know,
a more
a grim fairy tale or something.
right. It was one of the ones that actually stuck out. People knew it, so maybe Disney was like leaning more towards okay, what are things that people haven't heard? So maybe they could take a little bit more credit on like, oh yeah, we did it, and then you find out, oh wait a minute, that was an old German tale, and in that tale, all the children died. Like, oh my god.
Well, regardless of how you feel, this is happening. So yeah, a Tangled live action film. I mean, I guess why not?
I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see it because I mean,
Hey man, before we continue, it came up yesterday that Creature Commandos got renewed for season 2. That's the HBO Max show. It's an animated show. It's kind of like Suicide Squad. James Gunn wrote it. It's monsters though instead of villains. It's essentially Suicide Squad. I can't lie, but it's a good show.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it. But that sounds interesting.
Do you remember that Suicide Squad movie?
I do. I remember both of them.
Do you remember Weasel, the weird, crazy thing that everyone liked? It was like, and then it drowned at the beginning.
It's like, wait a minute, you got me sitting next to a werewolf?
Yeah, do you remember that?
I do.
He is in Creature Commandos.
That's right.
He's one of the creatures.
He's like, no, it's perfectly harmless. He's like, other than it's killed 47 children. But
but yeah, it's totally harmless. Good show. But I'm happy to hear it got renewed. That's all I'm saying. We're doing a lot of news stories, and so we're not covering that, but I wanted to throw it in there. And also, it's like, just fun. Watch the show, Ryan.
I guess I will. But me and my list, like it's ever growing, and I'm really good at not watching new things. I watch old stuff. I'm terrible.
You know what else is a good show?
I'm a comfort watcher.
You know what else is a good show that Ryan's not watching? Skeleton Crew.
That's true. I'm really not. I watched the first 2 episodes, but I was I think I was a little had a few beers by the end of the second one, and I really barely remember exactly what was going on, but I remember like really enjoying the way it looked, and the pacing looked great. Everything looked great. It's just I don't know why. I'm just not in the mood to be watching new things right now. I'm nostalgia watching.
Fair enough. Well, I think it's the season. It's the holiday season. I mean, it's Christmas Eve, so it's kind of hard not to watch nostalgia stuff. You got all the Christmas classics we grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
I know one of your favorites is Jingle All the Way.
That one is the best. I just watched that one. Another one that is neck and neck with Jingle All the Way is Jim Carrey's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It's so good.
Yeah, I agree. They did an animated one with Benedict Cumberbatch playing the Grinch a few years ago, and I was not as much of a fan.
It was weird.
For me, the Jim Carrey one is the standalone.
My youngest likes the Benedict one, and they both were sitting there intently. I had a 4 and an 8-year-old sitting there quietly watching the Grinch, just because Jim Carrey is it's got to be mind blowing. Like being that young and being like, what? Like that's the Grinch. Like that. He's real.
Yeah, like he is. Well, that's how it was for us, and we weren't that young. I mean, when did it come out? Early 2000s.
Yeah, but
we were probably like 15.
But I feel like we were already so into Jim Carrey that
it's true. We
definitely
knew who Jim Carrey was. Yeah.
So when it comes to like my kids, your kids, that's the fucking Grinch. Like that is the real life Grinch. Like they don't know who Jim Carrey. They're not gonna know. Obviously until they're older and you show them these films, you're probably gonna show them How the Grinch Stole Christmas, as probably the first time they're ever going to see the man. So they don't know who he is.
That's
so from that moment on, when they watch like Liar Liar and Dumb and Dumber, they're going to see the Grinch.
They're like, that the Grinch turned into a human.
Like, think about that. It's like,
that is a weird perspective. That is a weird holiday perspective, Ryan.
Dude, it's so true though. It's kind of like what Brian Posehn said. He's like, I'm going to play my kids just nothing but Weird Al songs their whole lives. And then when they're older and at some college party, they're going to be like, why is someone doing serious versions of
these
Eat It?
classic
Like
rock
what?
songs.
Like,
Fantastic. I don't know, man. My kid's still a little too young to watch that. We tried watching the Grinch. He got a little scared. So, I'll tell you what. I've saw the Miss Rachel Christmas movie about 100 times. That's for sure. Do you know who Miss Rachel is?
no.
Yeah, your kids are just a little bit too old, but she's like, she's Beyonce for toddlers at this point, and she's a YouTuber, and now she's been on Sesame Street and the Wiggles and all that stuff now. So it's like she blew up, but it was basically a YouTuber trying to help her kid talk.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, and she's a real teacher. So I put that on if for my kid all the time. And let me tell you, that Christmas movie has been burnt into my head because it's just let's sing Christmas songs. Now do you remember Blue's Clues?
I do.
It's kind of like that because it's just like she's walking around the screen and then she's like, "Look at this!
Mhm.
Do you see that? Let's sing a song."
It's got to be like, what a weird job to be standing in front of a green screen just doing that. Like I've listened to now that Steve from Blue's Clues kind of found like some internet fame because he did that really sad video where like he like basically was just like, how are you guys doing?
It wasn't sad. He was trying to cheer you up. It was during the pandemic, and he's like, "I know life's hard.
Yeah.
Haven't seen you in a while." Well, that Steve came back, man. They made another Blue's Clues series with a character named Josh, which
Yeah.
has gone at least 6 seasons.
I've seen some of that.
Well, Steve and also
I love
Joe,
that we're totally parents talking about this kid show right now.
It's
Like
fine, right?
dead nut serious.
Well, Steve and Joe from the original series came back. It's Christmas, man. It's a wholesome time.
It is. It is. No, and
They also did a Blue's Clues movie where all 3 of them came back. All right, I'm done. We're done talking about Blue's Clues.
I saw one episode where he came back. And
Right
one of
on.
what's funny, I'm having like a weird memory. I swear to God, we have talked about this before. I want to say this is not the first time we've mentioned this.
What, Blue's Clues or
Blue's
Miss
Clues,
Rachel?
like in the talking, like in the whole switch up with Steve, because that's funny.
Huh.
I swear to God, we talked about it last year.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's just the ghost of Christmas past.
Mm.
Oh no, the ghost of podcast past.
That's right.
We're getting really off topic. We should probably talk about let's talk about headline number 2. This was in the middle of headlines. We're nailing this Christmas episode. Nailing it.
It is a gift.
We haven't had eggnog at all.
No. Nope. It's good. It's good. The new Evil Dead spin-off title revealed.
Ooh.
This comes to us from comicbook.com. Evil Dead fans learned earlier this year that after the success of last year's Evil Dead Rise, a new spin-off for the franchise was being developed by Sebastian Vinisek.
Or
With-
Vinnick?
Hmm?
You think Vinisek? I've never heard it out loud.
I'm just saying it the way it's spelt. It could be wrong. There's like a V shape above the C, and I don't know what that does to that letter. I don't know what that does.
I mean,
I'm not savvy to what that does.
Continue.
So, with the filmmaker taking to social media to share the cover page of the movie's script, which is seemingly titled Evil Dead Burn.
I don't know why I wanted to cheer for that. I just like the Evil Dead. Continue.
You do love Evil Dead. While the title of last year's spinoff served as a way to describe the franchise rising from the dead, so to speak, it also reflected how the setting of that movie was a high rise. The new film's title sparking speculation from fans about whether or not Evil Dead Burn is another clue to the setting of the adventure.
See, I don't know what it would be, right? Like maybe people burnt at the stake and maybe this is another period piece Evil Dead because the Army of Darkness took place in medieval times. And now granted, that was a different era of Evil Dead and there's still speculation on whether or not Evil Dead Rise is part of the overall franchise or if it's a reboot. Truth be told, anything is possible. Like Karate Kid, they had a reboot and then they just made it into another sequel with this new sequel. So maybe they're going to do that. But Evil Dead Burn, the only thing I could think of is
They had
maybe
to burn them to purify them, right?
well, maybe it takes place in a fire station. We can get real literal. Or maybe it takes place back in time where we were burning people. And yeah, if you burnt a deadite, you would kill the deadite, I think. But you would also...
So maybe they do like a weird period piece where like all the
Like
information,
pioneers.
like the information got lost on us. We thought it was like a witch hunt, but really, no. They were dealing with deadites.
See, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, they might do that.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Because Evil Dead Burn, what else would it be? Like, burn her, burn the witch. I mean, it seems like that's what we're doing. I don't know.
Fire.
But I do like the idea of, like, what if it was
fire.
just during the 70s or 80s and it was overly stylistic when it comes to disco era and it took place in a fire station? That would be my take.
Eh.
Yeah?
Eh.
Yeah?
As
All
long
right.
as they have a Dalmatian, I'm in.
Merry Christmas. Continue.
In addition to revealing the film's title, Vinisek captioned the post 2026, implying a release date.
Ooh.
It's true. I got the picture right here to prove it.
Yeah, so he did release it. I think it was probably on X, and it is a photo of the first page. I tried to actually find it, and I think they may have deleted the post, but I got a picture of it before that. So here we are. Evil Dead Burn. I like Evil Dead. I like the series Evil Dead Rise. I was a big fan of. I thought it was a decent installment or reboot. There was never a consistency with the way the Necronomicon looked, and then they had a different, like, Necronomicon, essentially. It was found in the building of where it all took place in kind of like a bank vault because it used to be a bank, I guess.
Mhm.
And it implied that there was 3 copies of the Necronomicon. So the one we know from the original series, then this one in Rise, and then there's another one.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I know that this one's a little controversial to you because it really wasn't your favorite.
No, the 2013 is the one I didn't like.
Yeah, that was the one I was about to mention.
Yeah, that was a reboot, and it was overly bloody. It was I mean, it's not that I'm a prude to blood. I just didn't see the need. Like, they were actually showing very gross things.
Oh, it was I remember leaving the theater feeling sick to my stomach. Honestly, like I've never felt that way leaving a movie just because, yeah, it was very, very well done gore and a
Well,
lot of it.
Well, it seemed like that was the point. Like, they took the horror elements of what was happening of being possessed by a deadite and used it to be like, let's do self-mutilation as realistic on camera as possible.
And then like her just bashing his head in like with the crowbar and shit. Like, oh my God. Like,
See, the old Evil Deads were fun. And then the last one that came out, Evil Dead Rise, was also fun, but it did get pretty gory. So I feel like it found a happy medium between the two. So if you're a fan of the body horror, which a lot of people are, I'm not, but if you are, I feel like Evil Dead Rise was a good middle ground between the reboot and the original series.
I gotta watch that one again.
Yeah, that was really good. I have it on 4K Steelbook if you want to borrow it.
You do?
I do. You know what else we have? Headline number 3.
Jared Leto cast as Skeletor in upcoming He-Man live-action movie.
You'll never get me, He-Man!
This comes to us from IGN.com.
Yeah.
Jared Leto will be terrorizing the masters of the universe as the villain Skeletor in the upcoming live-action movie adaptation. I don't know if I like this idea already because, like, he better go wild. Like, I hope he goes, because, I don't know,
You don't
sometimes
want
he's
to
too
understated.
brooding. He's too brooding of a guy. Like, I hope he doesn't go too brooding with it.
That's true. He does, because it feels like Skeletor needs to be a little bit more flamboyant.
Yeah, very animated.
Yeah, you know who does good? In the new animated show, I think it's Mark Hamill who does it. But, like, once again, it's got, like, the really high pitch, like,
Well,
Skeletor!
He's so good. Mark Hamill is one of my favorite voice actors ever.
Go to hell, Prince Adam!
So, the Hollywood Reporter says Leto has joined the cast of the upcoming Masters of the Universe movie as the villain Skeletor, opposite Nicholas Galazine,
I haven't heard of him before this, but apparently he's very talented.
who was cast as He-Man. I saw an article about that, and I saw a picture. I don't recognize him either. So, but I like that. Sometimes I like when they find kind of a person you've
Not as well known,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you know, he looks like a good Prince Adam, but I don't know about He-Man because he's not, I don't mean to be weird about it, but he's not jacked at all. So I don't know if they're going to CGI him to be like super buff or get a body double, or if they're just going to have this scrawny kid be like, now I'm He-Man.
Well, I mean, he could go the route of like many where they go crazy. They hit the gym.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
then
like-
but then he couldn't be Prince Adam. That's the point. The
Oh.
point is the transformation of like Basically, it would be if Captain America, you remember the first Avenger movie?
Mm-hmm.
Well, basically, if Chris Evans went from that scrawny guy to the buff dude, like just whenever he lifted up his sword and says, "I have the power," He-Man.
And I'm sure they could do it. You know, they could probably pull it off just with the clothing and stuff like that. Yeah, they could make it work.
Yeah, maybe they just went with a medium so they could bulk him up and skinny him down, and he'll just never actually be his true self on camera.
Right. Well, all right. So Skeletor is
Oh yeah, that's the guy we're talking about.
Yeah, he is the main villain in the Masters of the Universe and is a skull-faced wizard who wishes to take over the planet of Eternia. He is known for his distinctive voice, which will be interesting to hear Jared Leto's take on, which is where I'm worried.
Yeah. Good point. Like we said, he needs to be a little bit more animated.
Right, and he does well, he was pretty animated. Like, people dogged on it, but I never understood the hate on his take on Joker. I thought it was okay.
Well, the problem with that was just he pissed a lot of people off on set and he took it a little bit too
Who
far.
cares?
But also,
He
well,
pissed off Will Smith. That's great.
I don't think it was Will Smith. But the point is,
He was one of them.
they cut it out. They cut out most of his role. Is kind of the real thing. Is in the actual movie. I don't know how much of the Joker was in it, but originally it was like a huge part of the film. Like that's why David Ayer, because Zack Snyder got his like Snyder cut for Justice League. David Ayer has just been like, hey, we could do the David Ayer cut. Suicide Squad. It was way better, guys. I promise.
Yeah.
And it might have been. I don't mean to act like he's, a douche about it. If there was an opportunity to like get my version of a film out there, I would be campaigning for it too.
But no, I straight up heard that Jared like put like a dead rat or a dead mouse in.
Yeah, and he gave it to
in
Margot
Will's-
Robbie.
Oh, to her, and I heard one into Will Smith's, like, he has like a mailbox on set or something, and he literally put one in there, or just gave him one. Like, I heard he gave
Yeah,
one to
all of that was Margot Robbie.
Was
that
it
I heard.
Margot?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I did hear wrong, but
Well,
but no,
I mean, he could have done it to Will Smith too. I don't know. I'm just saying what I heard was that story with Margot Robbie.
I remember just Will saying, like, in some interview saying, like, yeah, absolutely not. Like, he is not. Let's just say he's not invited to the party.
Oh,
Like, is how he kind of put it. Like, he was sick of
I
his
wonder if
shit.
Will Smith. Never mind. I was just thinking about him like behind stage smacking people. Like,
Just-
what if like he's been
just-
smacking people for years?
You're just standing
And
there,
he just got so emboldened that he finally did it to Chris Rock a few years ago, on public television.
and you're just having a casual conversation on set, and then you just hear in the distance. It's like, wait a minute. Oh, crap. Will Smith's coming. Shit.
You
Get out
got
of the way.
you
Get out
got
of the
Fresh
way.
Prince.
Ah! He's just smacking people. So, back to Skeletor. Based on the popular line of Mattel toys, this particular live-action adaptation of He-Man has been in development hell for years before
true.
finally gaining some traction. Bumblebee director Travis Knight
Love Travis Knight.
has been announced as the director and will be working from a script written by fellow
Leica creative.
thank you, Leica creative Chris Butler, who directed the animated film Paranorman.
So, Chris Knight he basically started he got money from his dad his dad runs Nike.
That's pretty
So
sweet.
Christopher Knight did all the Kubo and the Two Strings and Coraline and Paranorman. All those were Christopher Knight. Well, he also, like it said, he directed Bumblebee. But anyways, I'm a fan. That's all I was trying to get at.
Paranorman was honestly a little too scary for my kids.
Really? I love Paranorman.
I didn't mind it. It was good, but like when it came to, I only watched it because of my kids, and they were pretty scared. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna turn this off.
Yeah, it's fun.
So this will be the second live-action He-Man movie following a Masters of the Universe film released in 1987, starring Dolph Lundgren
Yeah, do you remember the Dolph Lundgren one?
as He-Man. I remember seeing I've seen photos, I think, in clips, but I've never watched it.
Well, it was just, it was a fun, it was low budget is the point. It was very campy, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, but too much of it was set on Earth, and it wasn't like quite He-Man. It was pretty funny.
Okay. No, I heard
I think
things.
Courtney Cox was in it.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
So, He-Man is having kind of a renaissance as of late. A new He-Man animated series is currently on Netflix titled Masters of the Universe Revelation, featuring the voice talents of Mark Hamill as
Yeah.
Skeletor. A third season titled Masters of the Universe Revolution is set to premiere in 2024. So they're
So
running
there
out
you
of time.
go.
They're running out of time.
Running out of time.
Well, that is interesting when it comes to, because like I said, I am honestly a big fan of Jared Leto. Like I like him. I think the first thing I ever saw of his was Requiem for a Dream, which is the most depressing movie on God's
It's not
green
great.
earth.
He's the
And,
singer of 30 Seconds from Mars.
He is, and I only know the one song of "Take Me Down, Bury Me, Bury," something like that. That's the only song I know,
Oh,
and
well,
I obviously just butchered it. I barely know it,
I'm just.
but I don't mind them.
Yeah.
But they were kind of more when I was.
He's also going to be in the new Tron movie, Tron 3.
Well, that makes sense. He makes sense for Tron. He's weird as shit. He makes perfect sense for Tron.
You know, we forget though he is an Oscar winner, man.
Well, yeah, no, like I said, I'm a fan. I'm not dogging him whatsoever. It's just
It's hit or miss.
yeah, it's hit or miss. I hope he takes this role like really serious. Like, yeah, like I hope he goes all out. You know what I mean? Like, because he has that ability. Like I said, we saw him as Joker. Yes, he went a little bit too far with method acting, but
You know what's funny is okay, so I've worked with actors who do method acting, and it kind of feels like some people who are method actors really do a good job of it helps them embody the character. It helps them really get into the headspace, and they do act better. But then it feels like other times it's just an excuse to be an asshole. Like,
yeah,
when have you heard like method acting? Well, I'm playing Mr. Rogers, so I'm going to be a method actor, which means I'm going to ask everyone how they're doing every day. No, you don't hear about that one. You hear about the motherfucker mailing rats.
yes.
You know what I mean? So it just kind of
Yes.
feels like method acting is sometimes an excuse to just, I'm going to be an asshole for 6 months while we work on this movie.
I feel like this went viral. It was about the movie Django, and Samuel Jackson was being interviewed, and he was recounting that Leo DiCaprio was having a hard time saying a hard R, saying the N-word in the film.
Dude, I would
And-
too, though, because
yeah.
it's like I've been conditioned my whole life not to like drop that. So
And literally, he's like, "This is just another Tuesday to me, man." And like, literally, they had to, I believe, like, kind of break set because he just couldn't do it. The next day, he walked in and he looked up, saw Leo coming in, and he was like, "How's it going, man?" And Leo just completely ignored him and just walked right by him. And he was just like, "Okay." And then he said, "That was it." Nailed it after that.
fair
Just
enough.
went in there and so it's like
well,
sometimes
you
you
get in
gotta
the headspace of the
you
character.
gotta get of that head. That was my point. Is even Leo, but that's a good way to do it. It's not like he went off on him.
Well, you know what
it's not
sucks,
like
though?
he
It's like,
started just ranting at him.
What's method acting if you're that's rough though. Like, what if you are method acting as just like the worst person ever? Just like, I went and burnt down in some buildings and kicked some puppies because, well, that's what my character would have done.
Well,
It's just my character, Ryan.
And that's where I think there's a limit. There's a limit, like method acting. There's a limit. So speaking of a limit,
How
got-
many giant snake movies
Can
you
we make?
Can we make? Is there a limit, Ryan?
I don't think so.
I don't want there to be. I am such a fan of campy monster movies, and I'm very happy that we're getting a return to a campy monster movie with
Woo!
headline number 4.
The Anaconda reboot slithers into theaters Christmas 2025.
Aha!
This comes to us from Fangoria.com.
I do want to mention that a few weeks ago we did briefly mention that Jack Black and Paul Rudd are going to be making this reboot.
Yep.
So this is more of an update and more information on the story. So here's the stuff we've just learned.
And I'm sure we ranted like heck about this. So here we go. Fans of giant snakes and creature features, pay attention, as Sony Pictures has announced a release date for the upcoming Anaconda reboot. Yes, nearly 30 years later. Holy crap.
I know. It's crazy. Ice Cube, Ice Cube was it. Once again, eggnog.
Oops.
Hey, don't judge me. It's the holidays. It's Christmas Eve, Ryan.
Oi.
Which, by the way, thank you so much for being able to leave your family and come and record on Christmas Eve while mine are sitting in the corner giving me a dirty look.
Oh, well.
for recording on the holidays.
Well, but to be honest, I'm a divorced dad, and I only get them on the weekends anyway, but I do get to pick them up on Christmas, so
Ha ha ha! How to make a joke awkward in 30 seconds.
I could do that so much faster, actually. Time me next time.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So I got no transition to that. I guess moving on.
Back to big snakes.
Back to big snakes.
In this case, two actors primarily known for comedy, like us two here, namely Jack Black and Paul Rudd, are headlining what figures to be a very different take on the franchise.
I mean, it'd have to be.
Yeah, I hope they don't go like too silly. I hope they don't go like Jungle Book series, like silly with it. Like I hope.
Yeah, I want it to still be a monster movie where
Yeah.
people die. I want it to be,
I still want people to die.
Well, no, like, here's a good example. It's like Critters, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a goofy, funny movie, but you're still watching a monster movie where there is, in the world of that film, stakes.
Kilmore Krites. It will hit theaters on December 25th, 2025.
The new Wakanda,
Yes.
December 25th.
Dude.
We're getting Christmas snakes.
They are ballsy with this. Are they going to make it a Christmas movie?
I mean, yes.
Dude, Christmas Anaconda.
Oh my God, what if we just rebrand it? It's the Christmas Anaconda with Paul Rudd and Jack Black. I'm more down for that.
Me too. And we could just make that this, and then they could have this be the backstory to the snake from A Nightmare Before Christmas, the giant snake that goes in and eats all the presents.
Ooh, fantastic.
There you go.
And we could just totally go full Jurassic Park 3 and have the snakes talk. Alan.
Yes. Listen to me.
Oh, shit. Now Voldemort too? All right, never mind. I was getting too crazy. What is actually happening in this film, Ryan?
Well, Tom Gormican, if I said that right, will direct the film.
Ooh, that's fantastic.
He also co-wrote the script, Joe.
Excellent.
Plot details for the reboot are being kept under wraps, but
Yeah,
it's
makes sense.
said to put a comedic spin on the material. No shit.
All right. A little busy.
The original film was an earnest attempt to make a big budget monster movie. It was a pretty big hit in its day. I remember it,
Yeah, I loved it.
leading to a series of sequels, but the sequels I don't
do you
remember.
mind? Do you mind? I want to do this. Leading to a series of sequels, including
Oh no.
2004's Anaconda and the Hunt for the Blood Orchid.
There's no stopping them.
From there, the films went to direct-to-TV route with 2008's Anaconda 3, Offspring.
Hang in there, everybody.
Then the next year, we have 2009's Anaconda's Trail of Blood.
Oh my God, it hurts.
2015's Lake Placid vs. Anaconda, and most recently, a Chinese remake of Anaconda that was released earlier this year.
I love Lake Placid, but this hurts.
Sequels.
It hurts. Ow. Oh, Joe. Joe.
Did you lose your place? Were you trying to find your place? You're right there.
Yeah, I know where I'm at now.
All right.
Ryan tries to find his place and fills it in with your name. This all implies that the films are profitable for Sony, meaning it was only a matter of time before they brought it back to the big screen. Is there actually going to be horror mixed in with the comedy,
There's
Joe?
got to be horrors, man.
Or is this going to be more...
That sounded so fucked up. Excuse me.
gonna be
There's gotta be
horrors.
scares, man.
There's going to be horrors. But no, there won't. This is going to be more of a out-and-out comedy. The original works because it was so earnest.
Okay, I'm sorry. You fucked up that whole paragraph. Just start over, man.
Fuck. Is there actually going to be horror mixed in with this comedy, Joe?
I don't know.
Or is this going to be more of an in-and-out comedy?
I don't know.
The original works because it was so earnest.
There you go.
And even when it doesn't work, it's pretty compelling.
That's true. I did like the original. for
The
that
original
reason,
it was effed up. Like
Yeah.
the bug.
John Voight was a crazy villain.
Yeah. When he winks at her.
Oh,
After
yeah.
he gets
after he
vomited
gets
out.
vomited out. Yeah.
Ugh.
Watch Anacondas. Honestly, Anaconda's Search for the Blood Orchid wasn't bad either. The third one starred David Hasselhoff. I do remember that. I only watched it once.
The Hoff?
The Hoff.
Bro.
And then, but that one got weird because they're like, we bred anacondas to be a killing machine for the military, and now they have like a scorpion tail. It got weird.
Thing with David Hasselhoff getting weird? Huh.
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 By the way, do you know what Baywatch Nights is?
I have a feeling you're going to tell me.
Okay, so Baywatch was very popular, obviously. Well, when it was over, they had a sequel series called Baywatch Nights, where he was kind of like a detective at night, and he was like vampires and shit. It got real weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like vampires and shit.
Yeah. But anyways, this new Anaconda movie. I mean, that's pretty much all we really got to say there,
I was going to
right?
say, yeah, here's hoping that Gormican, who's going to direct it, has found the right take on it. Look for the new Anaconda movie in theaters next Christmas, literally on Christmas Day. That is
A lot of people go see movies on Christmas Day. Like, I never did. My family, there was always like, no, it's Christmas. We don't go see movies. But, like, it's very common. And maybe it's...
I didn't know that, yeah, because my family didn't do that either.
There are a large amount of people who don't celebrate Christmas, for one. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
Like, and if everything is closed, what do you do? That's why it's the old joke where it's like, you know, the young Jewish family, and they're just like, well, you want to get Chinese and rent a movie? Like, that was always the thing.
To me, it was White Castle.
White Castle?
Are heathens. They
What?
they are always open. It doesn't matter what the fuck holiday it is. I swear to God, they are slinging sliders,
Fair enough.
dude. I'm telling you, no. The next time you're hungry on a
But-
holiday night, White Castle will be there.
White
for you.
Castle will be there. Well, that's good to know. Well, not just... That's funny. Not just other people go out in the holidays who do celebrate Christmas is all I'm saying. Like, going out and seeing a movie on Christmas Day is actually it's a big market. They make a lot of money on Christmas Day.
Mars Attacks was a Christmas movie, and that's why the skeletons turn green and red.
What?
That is true.
That is not true.
Yes, it is.
No.
100%.
No.
100%.
I think
Mars Attacks was released on Christmas, and because of it, they colored the skeleton. That's why the skeletons either turn red or green.
That sounds like such a TikTok thing that isn't
It's
real.
Tim Burton, dude. It's Tim
Oh,
Burton.
I don't know if I buy it.
Oh, that's all. Ooh, good.
We're
We're gonna look this up.
Fair enough.
So I'm actually reading here. I just looked it up. So it says here, 1996, Mars Attacks is a Christmas movie because the Martians in the film fire either red or green rays at the humans, which was an inside joke because it was originally supposed to come out on Christmas Day, and that was the whole plan, and something ended up happening. So
Okay, fair enough. I stand corrected.
So no, you kind of were right because it didn't come out on Christmas. But
I thought it was
supposed
complete
to.
fabrication. At least, yeah. Nope, you backed it up. All right,
It was
fair enough.
supposed to,
Fair
but
enough.
it didn't.
And
So-
that brings us to headline number 5.
Chopper 5.
Chopper 5. Or is it Chopper 4? We do that joke so much, I don't even remember. I just remember it was.
We're gonna have to dig that.
We're gonna have to rewatch that stand-up
We have
routine.
to.
I do have it. We can watch it later.
We're gonna watch it.
All right.
We're totally gonna watch it. It's a Christmas miracle, everybody. Courtney Cox is returning as Gale Weathers in Scream 7.
To be fair, I think this is a good thing. I think if you're going to have a horror franchise, you should keep bringing back the surviving characters as long
No
as
matter
possible.
how many times she's stabbed.
It does. Well, to be fair, she has. I don't think she's
And
been
shot?
stabbed all
Has
that
she
much. She
been
was
shot?
shot. She was shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
This comes. I mean, she was stabbed in the last one.
Oops. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Sorry, I thought you were done.
No, she was stabbed in the last one. Is all I'm saying. This comes to us from
Nerdist.com. Despite a slew of controversy over the past 2 years, the Scream franchise is moving forward with its 7th installment. The previous film left the core 4 and Gale Weathers in a relatively good place, with Sam finally moving towards healing and peace.
Yeah. Because when they rebooted it, number 5, they had like new main characters.
Nope.
Okay. Well, fair
I
enough.
have fallen way out of the Scream game.
All right, well, I'm gonna lay it out real quick. You had the original trilogy that came out. Then they had kind of like a reboot in 2011, but it wasn't really a reboot. It was kind of a play on reboots, and it was Sydney's cousin, and it was this okay version. Then they did Scream. I hate it when they do this, but they just named it Scream, and that was Scream 5.
We hate that on this podcast. Come on, make a name.
Nah, fair enough. Well, that Scream brought in 2 new characters, and without spoilers, just saying they focused on them, and then their story was completed in Scream 6, and here we are at Scream 7.
Screaming again.
I mean, it's a horror slasher franchise. Don't worry about it. It's Tommy Jarvis. Whatever. Continue.
Continuing. So, in an Entertainment Weekly review, Nev Campbell confirmed a bit about the film's storyline, saying that it would follow Sidney Prescott as the main character once again. Now, we officially know that Courtney Cox is coming back as Gale Weathers. She survived a near-fatal attack from Ghostface in her home.
I mean, they left it kind of ambiguous. If they wanted to, they could have said Gale Weathers died in the last one. But she didn't. She lived. It's fine.
They did that on purpose. So it will be interesting to see what she is up to now. Sydney is living a happy life with her husband, Mark, and her daughters. It seems like there was no one else hiding in the shadows who would want to kill Sydney. Like, could you please stop trying to kill me?
Just saying. But to be fair, there's a different killer in every movie, right? Like, that's the one thing that separates Ghostface from the other killers. You get Jason. Jason is Jason. Michael Myers is Michael Myers. Freddy is Freddy. Except for the reboot, Chucky is Chucky. But Ghostface is always someone new. Always. It's just a persona that was created originally by these psychos and one that other people have picked up the mantle on simply because it gives you, and it makes you anonymous. It's ambiguity. You're hiding. You know what I mean?
No, I like that. Yeah, it's they're copycats basically.
It's weird though because it's like, so is Ghostface one of the killers that should be in the Mount Rushmore of serial killers in movies, or not? Because it's always someone different. And technically, not to be a dick, they all fail.
And
I mean, they kill people. Don't misunderstand, but they're all defeated at the end of their subsequent movie. Unless this number 7 does anything different, none of the killers have come back to be a killer again in a sequel.
Well, I mean, and that's the horror of Scream, is that they are all copycat killers. They just don the mask and the robe, and there you go.
They can do what they did in Michael Myers in the 6th one, and then just get all supernatural with it and be like, it's a disease that you catch the killer urge and you put on the ghost face mask.
Or you could be like Jason. I forget which one it was. It was a young Corey Feldman.
Oh, no, that was number 4.
Who put on the mask at the very end and looked at the camera and it was like...
Yeah, but then they completely retconned that in the sequel, by the way.
Oh, okay, well.
Yeah, fair enough.
Either way, I remember that.
Yeah.
So...
I don't know. Scream, man.
Scream.
You know what they could do? There's a rumor that they're going to bring back an original killer like, Matthew Lillard.
That would make sense because he's been making waves again. Five Nights at Freddy's did well. They're doing a sequel. So, yeah, he's a big deal.
Good possibility.
Like I said, he literally ran into me and my ex-wife when we were at Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah?
Literally ran into us and gave us
physically.
Yes. With his hood up, with his hands in his pockets, no one would recognize this 7-foot-tall monster walking through the hallway. This man is enormous. Bumped into us, gave us a... and then ran back around because I think he was running off probably to lunch or something.
Yeah. Was that a Monster Palooza?
That was a Motor City Nightmare.
Motor City Nightmares. Great con.
All right, so back to Courtney Cox returning as Gale Weathers here in Scream 7. The plot of Scream 7 is really up in the air, but one possible idea is, after we already speculated, depending on the film's release, someone from 30 years ago, like Joe said, could decide to celebrate the events of Scream 1996 in a sinister way. We shall see.
I don't know, man.
So Nev...
I think that would make sense, right?
It actually has more here. Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. But I'm just saying that would make sense, a 30-year anniversary, because that would just it'd come out the same, yeah.
So Nev Campbell says she expects to get the final script sometime in August. So hopefully nothing will leak before they are ready to tell. Kevin Williamson, the writer of Scream 1996, will direct Scream 7. That's exciting. James Vanderbilt, who wrote the last 2 installments, will pen this sequel.
Makes sense for some consistency.
That's good. The Radio Silence team will step back from directing duties to executive produce.
Excellent. Yeah, because they did the last 2.
Okay. In a recent IndieWire interview, Campbell confirmed that filming will start in December of 2024. So they're filming right now.
Happening now.
Right now, we know that Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox, and Mason Gooding are returning from the previous film. There's no word on if Jasmine Savoy Brown will reprise her role as Mindy Meeks Martin, but it would not be shocking at this point.
Yeah, because they were siblings. It would make sense.
We assume Roger L. Jackson will return as the voice of Ghostface, respectively.
He was the voice in every film. Of course he's going to return. And when he dies, he probably will have signed a deal to make that voice, you know.
How easy would that
exactly.
be for them to replicate that with AI? Because it's already,
well, you need the
robot-y.
permission, thank God. But
Well,
I'm
yeah.
just saying.
So when asked if he might return as
Patrick Dempsey.
Mark Kincaid,
Yeah, Mark Kincaid was the character he played.
Sidney Prescott's Scream husband, Patrick Dempsey, said it was possible. Said, I'm writing on the script.
Waiting on the script.
Sorry, waiting. Why did I say writing?
I don't know.
I'm waiting on the script. There has been a conversation about it. I haven't seen anything yet, so we'll see what happens. It's always good to have a job. Ain't it the truth?
Yeah, well, he's definitely a working actor. I liked Patrick Dempsey. He was only in the third one. They say he played Sydney's husband. I didn't realize he played Sydney's husband. So I don't know if that came later or because I thought they were just I thought he was a cop actually in that third one. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I am glad to hear more Scream 7 stuff. And I'm surprised we have to wait so long, but it made sense because they lost their 2 stars and there was a bunch of controversy. So took them a while to get their shit together. And I like that they're not rushing it and they're trying to make like a good sequel, a sequel that makes sense.
Yep, it says here, Scream 7 will arrive in theaters on February 27th, 2026. So we got like a year. We got a little year and a half.
I mean, it's not that much. Well, it's like a year and 2 months.
Yeah. Okay, so not bad.
Not bad.
No, good for them. Yeah, they're not, like you said, I agree with that. When things are rushed, it's a nightmare. And it sounds like these guys actually, I like the way that they're doing it, how they have like the original dude, like directing, and they've got the people who have been writing, they're involved, the people who did the last one are executive producing. It just feels like actually working together. You know what I mean? Which you often, it's more about the money than the story. I feel like
we got to be passionate about it. Even if you're just passionate,
the
like
passion.
If you don't make a good film, there's not going to be another film. Let's just put it that way. So if you want another job, maybe make this one good.
I really feel like that's been a lesson a lot of projects have had to learn over these past few years.
Don't rush.
Don't rush. And don't set yourself up to fail with like, I forget the term, like a studio or whoever who is like constantly barking orders, telling you to cut this, add this, and all this stuff. It's like, no, we have a story.
The problem is you can't just take a stand. If the studio's the ones paying the bills, it's their movie. They hired you to make the movie. So while I agree you want to be creative, you can't really help it. If the studio tells you not to change something, you don't really have a choice.
Then let me make this statement to the studios then. Stop. Let you trust who you have in charge. You got people to direct it. You got people to write it. Stay out of it.
Trust the people you hire.
Trust the people you hired. Be that dude smoking the cigar behind the desk. Sometimes it's important to have that guy because when you get too involved, sometimes that's when you always hear of huge problems. And then by the time it comes out, it's been argued over and cut and that it doesn't make sense. And then it fails or it just gets shelved.
Well, I do agree with you a lot that a numbers person should not be making all the creative decisions.
Yes.
But that being said, they do have a literal investment in the project. So it's a fine line to walk, but let the creatives be creative is 100% how I feel.
If you're going to make an investment, it's a risk. You need to trust your investment. You invested because you aren't out here taking that money and filming a movie yourself. So trust who you hired.
Trust who you hire.
And obviously, I'm not even in that I'm not even in that industry. And this is just my outside opinion as a fan.
Fair enough. Well, you know what? Fans have a lot of important input. I mean, it was the Sonic the Hedgehog movie where the fans campaigned to basically get Sonic redesigned. And it paid off because that movie was a hit.
It paid off, and it even got us Ugly Sonic for the Chip and Dale
movie, which was really good.
And we got Ugly Sonic in that, which was the original Sonic. Amazing.
Well, that was a time when listening to the fans, ended up making a movie into such a big success and a franchise. And in fact, they're even doing another one. Sonic 3 isn't even out yet, and they're talking about another one with headline number 6.
Sonic the Hedgehog 4 in the works for 2027 release. This comes to us from Variety.com. Paramount Pictures is prepping Sonic the Hedgehog 4 for the studio, with the studio anticipating a spring of 2027 release date for the latest entry in the family-friendly franchise. The news comes as Sonic the Hedgehog 3 races into theaters, where it is expected to top the box office with $55 million to $60 million from 3,800 North American theaters.
They're planning, they think it's going to make some money.
The sequel is shaping up to be a nice holiday season hit for Paramount, hence the interest in more Sonic adventures. Internationally, the film will open in 52 markets on Christmas. Critics have also...
I'm telling you, Christmas is a big day for movies.
Evidently. Critics have also liked the latest movie, handling Sonic the Hedgehog 3 an handing them 87% fresh score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Which is very good. I mean, I'm excited to see the third film. I did like the first...
For a third movie? That's big.
That is big. I like the first two.
Mm-hmm. No, I enjoyed them as well. So together, the first two films have earned a combined global box office total of $725.2 million and driven over $180 million in global consumer spending from home entertainment rentals and digital purchases.
They also inspired a spin-off at Paramount Plus series called Knuckles, which came out earlier this year. I liked Knuckles. It was about 6 episodes. Idris Elba came back as Knuckles. Very good. And you remember the bumbling cop Wade, who was like the friends with the main character, Donut Lord?
Yes.
Yes. It was him and Knuckles on this epic adventure to win a bowling tournament to show up his dad.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a great film. I loved it. Well, go ahead. I was just going to... You know what? Screw it. I'll do it. I never read this. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 brings back Jim Carrey as Dr. Ivo Robotnik, Sonic's main antagonist, and Ben Schwartz as the titular speedster.
Ooh.
Carrey does double duty in part 3 and also plays Ivo's grandfather. What do you think, Gerald Robotnik. The ensemble includes Keanu Reeves, who plays Shadow the Hedgehog, another fan favorite from the video games.
I honestly never knew Shadow.
It was later. Shadow the Hedgehog came when they were all 3D in the mid-2000s.
Yeah, Shadow's new to me.
I only played the original Sonic as well. Well, anyways, plot details on Sonic the Hedgehog 4 are being kept under wraps, but we'll let you know when we know.
It is exciting because... It is, I agree with you, though. It's such an important franchise because they listen to the fans. And now everybody's just eating it up. And then you've got Jim Carrey.
They also listen to the fans when it came to casting Keanu Reeves because everyone said forever that Keanu Reeves should play Shadow. And you know what? They did it. Listening to the fans.
And I just watched this. It was like a TikTok where this person was on the red carpet, got to see all the people from the Sonic movie, and asked, hey, what's your favorite Jim Carrey movie? To all of them. And pretty much all of them said Dumb and Dumber. But when it got to Keanu, he went, honestly, these Sonic movies. He's like, what he's done with Robotnik. To be fair,
he was promoting Sonic.
But I don't know, when it comes to Keanu, he feels like such like a genuine dude that I feel like he was being for real. And think about it, though. He's never worked with him. So it was just, as an actor, he probably, looked up to him, when he was popular in a different way. Jim was popular in a different way around the same time, right?
I mean, there's something to be said about respecting your peers. And yeah, they were popular around the same time. They had a similar trajectory. I mean, Speed was coming out the same time we had
he was like an action guy. Like he was like that, but he had Bill and Ted, but it feels like he had a real falling out until Speed, and then he got Matrix. I forget which one was first, Matrix or Speed.
Speed was 1996. Matrix was 1999.
Okay, so there you go. So he kind of got back.
Chain Reaction was in between.
Nice. I never saw that one.
I think I don't barely remember it, but I'm pretty sure Morgan Freeman was in it.
Morgan Freeman.
Anyways, I know I threw you off your point, but Sonic.
Every time that Morgan Freeman cries, it rains in heaven.
Ooh.
When Morgan Freeman narrates a documentary, he narrates it first, and then nature simply makes it so.
You know what? I'm happy we had this episode the way we did, because it's Christmas Eve and we told each other that we were going to be a little bit just looser on this one. We weren't going to be as stressed about it. We're having our eggnog. We're hanging out on Christmas Eve.
Loose as the goose on the table, sir.
God bless us, everyone.
Everyone.
And you know what? That's a good thing. If any listeners out there, Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. Happy holidays if you celebrate anything else. And if you don't celebrate anything, happy days off work, because, hey, that's got to be nice.
Hey, yes, definitely. No, happy holidays, guys, because we love doing this podcast. And if you listen, man, do we love you. You are part of the family. Please.
You're an Earthling. We call our fans Earthlings.
I swear we would love for you to hear from you guys. Please email us at earthlingentertainmentpodcast@gmail.com with anything and everything. We talk about, you know what we talk about. We talk about spooky stuff, talk about alien stuff, and we like to talk about what's going on in entertainment, nerdy stuff that we like. So if there's something that you want us to cover, we'll give you a shout out and we'll totally cover it. We'll do some research too.
It's always good to have feedback from the fans. That's what it's saying. But also, you could hit us up if you want a bumper sticker. Send us a return address.
Yep.
We will send you some Earthling Entertainment bumper stickers. And if it feels like we're wrapping things up, that's because, well, we are. It's a pretty long show, but we have finished every bit of news. Well, there's one other thing. I'm not going to... What?
I just said ho, 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 because it's a surprise gift.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know if you give a crap. Dune Prophecy on HBO Max has been renewed for a season 2.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if you're a Dune fan, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And I always like to talk about my helmets. Disney Store has a new helmet right now.
To be clear, we're talking about Star Wars helmets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, if they listen, they know what I'm talking about. Yeah, my Star Wars helmets. Disney Store has this new one, dude. And it's one of the special Legion, the Green Legion of clone troopers. And even the visor is like green. So like that's out there for like if you have a Star Wars fan who's you know,
or if you want to send a gift to, if you email us, I will give you Ryan's address and you can mail him this Star Wars helmet for Christmas.
That helmet, it'd be sweet. It's on the shopdisney.com. And it's really sweet.
It is. It is. Well, you know, guys, as you can tell, we're about ready to cut loose and enjoy our holiday, and we suggest you guys do the same. So from all of us here at Earthling Entertainment, seriously, thanks for listening, and see ya.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Ho,
ho, ho.
Who are you calling a hoe?
According to a report in Deadline Opens in a new tab, the Greatest Showman director, god damn it.
That is awesome.
Ron Burgundy reads what's on the teleprompter, okay? Ron Burgundy.
Well
Go fuck yourself, San Diego. I hate myself.